hivi sasa katika nchi yetu, nchi kuu ya Kenya. And so we are saying that that impeachment motion is just a distraction. Okay, sorry guys, someone was calling me. I hope Wanyama you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, you and so I was saying, yeah, and so that impeachment motion is just one of the ways to delay, to nini, like to confuse us. And so you'll find out that on our timeline, some people are talking about the impeachment motion, some are talking about Adani, some are even talking about Ruto meeting with the Ford Foundation. And so you find out that some of these issues are just a distraction. And of course, we shouldn't be distracted by such issues. Personally, I haven't even engaged on such matters because I want to remain focused. And so I'd ask each and every one of us to always remain focused because, the elephant in the room is Ruto and Gachagua, and the entire regime must go because we cannot sit back and watch people who call themselves leaders taking this country in a very wrong trajectory. And that's why some of us have decided not just to host these spaces, to go to the ground and speak to the people, to tell them exactly what is happening. Yeah. And so this is also a challenge to you guys who have joined on this space, that let us not just speak on these spaces. Let us not just tweet about what is happening. Let us not just go to other social media platforms to rant and speak about what is happening. Let us go out there, yeah, with the little you have. Of course, go out there and talk to people, explain to them. Like the other day, I was huko Mirimani, somewhere at a place called Kerugoya in Kirinyaga County, and we met some people there. I was with Morara and the people whom we were accompanied with, and now we are speaking to those guys, Jamaa Boda Boda hapo, and we told them everything you buy in this country, it's subjected to tax. Yeah, even those guys who have the blue badge here, you pay 16% VAT. You pay $8 plus 1.6. That 1.6 is a VAT. And some few months ago, hatukuwa tunakuwa deducted yo mambo ya VAT when we were purchasing the blue badges at Twitter. But saizi, look at those receipts. And so I met those guys and I asked them, how many of us here use Kenya Power, like when you're gonna steam at home? And some of them wako na stima. Na nikamwambia anybody mwenye amenunua token juzi anionyeshe simu yake. And the guy akanipatia simu na akanionyesha alinunua token ya 50 bob as we speak, yeah? And I told that guy that when you umenunua hii token ya 50, you paid tax. Akaniambia aje. Nikamwambia read information yenye hapa. Angalia token amount ni how much, umelipa 50 but token amount ni how much. Kaniambia ni 30 and the remaining ni other charges. Nikamwambia hizo other charges zenye ni 20 bob, hiyo ni pesa imeenda huko nyuma ya tax. And so he was like, wow, kumbe it's serious. And now we started to resonate with those guys on the ground. I tried to explain to them how the government inachukua taxes out, they're misusing them. Nikamwambia okay, nyinyi wengi hapa hamjatumia airport, probably hamjakuwa Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. And so issue kama ya Adani taking over the airport, you might think that it doesn't affect you. It's not probably an issue to you. But because you guys are buying token ya 50 and 20 bob is going to taxes, hiyo 20 inasukumwa huko kwa airport. Yeah, inasukumwa kwa other parastatals. And so when these parastatals are being funds zapo zinapotea, it means that out of those funds, jua your 20 bob you will buy kwa token iko huko. Yeah. And so they were like, yeah, it's true. Tukaanza ku resonate now. We explained to them and we had so many ideas there. I collected a lot of information from the ground and I can confirm to you guys.
Mimi tu mama Bonga amefanyiwa hiyo kitu. Tori.
Simsikii hata.
Atapigiwa simu tena. Anyway, Toria. Mabonga, are you back? Marvin Mabonga. Okay. Toria, I think let's progress to... Okay. Mabonga, continue. It's fine.
Okay. Hata nilikuwa namalizia. There is someone who is calling me up every now and then. Sijui nitafanya aje. But generally people out there msidhani ati hapa space ndio tumekasirika na sisi pekee tu ndio tuko informed. Pia huko chini watu wako informed. Na the moment pia we visit them to talk to them, explain to them, they get more information what is happening, and of course they will always rally behind the movement and our idea. So tusikuje tu hapa online, honestly. Let us go out there. Spread the word, spread the gospel, do whatever you can. If your work is just to rant, go to the ground and rant. Ita watu 10 pamoja, anzeni kukaa hapo, pigeni story, tell them what is happening. Yeah, you don't have to have a big crowd. Mimi the moment tuko tunafika in a town, kina Marana anasema hakuna watu, mimi naambia leta microphone, give me the microphone. Naanza kuongea hapo for almost 10 minutes, watu washaja, because they now want to come and hear what we are telling them. And so usiende huko nje ogope ati hauna ground ama nini. The moment you talk to people, you tell them exactly what is happening, they will always listen to you. Those who will resonate with you, they will. Those who will not resonate with you, ensure you try and explain what exactly is happening, because hapo ndio wataelewa. Anyway, let me give it back to Toria to car out. But I can see Isaac Muhando, your hand is up, so you can go as I try to bring Toria to co-host. Isaac.
Thank you so much, KOT, the co-host Wanyama and Toria, and I like the discussion that is actually going on. And two things. Number one, something that I want to tell you guys, and if I may use Kiswahili, hasidi mkuu wa taifa letu la Kenya ni mwanasiasa. Haijalishi ni mwanasiasa yupi, awe Gachagua, awe Ruto, awe nani. These guys, they are robbing the country for their own selfish gains. And we are the losers. So every time you see them instigating a crisis or a conflict, they just want to drag us into their own differences, right? Maybe someone was looting and is looting more than the other, and the other one feels aggrieved and runs to the streets and starts saying, oh, wanataka kuni impeach. You know, they are playing, these are political mind games that they are playing on us. So one thing that I can tell you guys, we are on our own. But when I say we are on our own, we are marching forward because they know our strength. And their biggest fear is our unity, the way we are coming together and how the young people are getting informed. And this is actually, they were not prepared for this. And this is their biggest fear even when it comes to 2027. You can see how Raila and Gachagua were enemies. Look at the words they were spewing at each other during the campaigns. Look at how Gachagua used to say, he will territory mark the state house. At no point Raila will get in the state house, right? And you're like, and people are clapping and people are shouting, and and some of people who are shouting, they're now complaining right now. And it's a biggest lesson for us. We need to take this as a biggest lesson so that when we're moving forward, and I like what you guys are really doing on the ground, trying to inform people, let young people get IDs as early as this. Let young people register as voters, because they know the vote of the younger person they're not really going to get. And I can assure you, no young person in their own sane mind are going to vote these people. So even us sitting here discussing Gachagua and their differences with the boss, I mean, we're just wasting our time. I'm sorry to say this. We shouldn't even be talking about this. We should be talking about the Adani. We should be talking about the corruption that is going on. We should be talking about, how Kenya Power is robbing us. We should be talking how people are going hungry. We should be talking how there's no medicine in hospitals and what we need to do. We should be talking about the dawn strike. We should be talking about, the teacher strikes and so forth. Because these are the things that are ailing our country. So when they bring this up, I won't be surprised if these guys they know what they're doing, right? Every time you see when young people are focused on a cause, they bring up something, right? You find, 12 bodies were retrieved in Quarry, so that, they can shift our mind, shift our focus, because they know we are the voice. And the moment we get together, we scare them. The moment you post on Twitter, you look at, what is trending? You see, something is trending in Kenya. Teacher strike is trending in Kenya. That's a scare. But right now, when you start talking Gachagua, they will sit back and call each other in the evening. I think we are doing great, right? Let's keep on injecting. As much as we're injecting on our side, they are also injecting on our side. And these guys know each other. They are not like, no one should lie to you, they are enemies. No. Raila, Gachagua, Ruto, and all these politicians, they know each other. They know each other. Nani angejua, when Mombasa governor Joho, the way he used to say he cannot work with Ruto, and he even swore before Allah, and he said, "I cannot work with Ruto. Come rain, come sunshine." Right? See, where is he right now? Where is he right now? Even when Gen Zs try to rise up in Mombasa, he's the same guy who is actually using dirty tactics to distract them. So, young people, I want to tell you, we are on our own. And when I say this, I'm not saying it in a negative way, because our strength, our unity is our strength. And that's what we need to work forward. We need to unite. We need to, keep rowing. If you go into tubing or boat rowing, the more you row together, the faster the boat move. Lakini mtu mmoja akianza kuzembea, unapata like mnaanza kuyumba. So, young people, I would like even KOT tomorrow, bring another topic. Let's talk. In fact, we should ignore them. They when they go to forums, because I know even their people are here, they are listening to us. They know, wanasema, I think the Gachagua thing is working, We need to ignore them. Give them a blackout so that they know whatever they are doing is a non-issue. It's a non-issue. And Toria did mention at some point, when young people are being killed, their brain being spattered on the streets, right? Where was even Gachagua, right? What did he even say? And right now, he's back on the streets. He wants young people to support him at the same time. And he was not there for them. So this tells you how these people are playing dirty games, and they know each other. So hii kitu ya Gachagua, wacha waende huko. We should, in fact, it should be a non-issue. Hata tusikie tu kwa news Gachagua was impeached without even, we just need to mind our own business. Because these people, they are taking us for granted. Like, they are treating us like, we just like a place where they want to mint money. They want to get rich to support their kids. In fact, their kids are not even in this country. Some of them, when the moment someone gets into power, their kids go to other places because they know the country is not even secure for them. The other day, nilisikia governor wa Machakos ati amebeba pesa. I don't know whether it was true or not true. Amebeba mamilioni, anapeleka wapi? So you can see how these people love themselves. It's only about their tumbocrats. Ni tumbo zao tu, wanajali. They don't really care about us. So let's keep injecting. Let's keep focusing. And as many of you have said, the speakers before, let's maintain our focus. Let's look at those things that made us, made people die on the street. Those people made people be shot on the street. Let's focus on those, because those guys are looking down at us and they're saying, "Hey guys, do not lose focus. This is why we died. This is why we died. Let's maintain this focus." And someone mentioned something. I don't know if it was Wanyama or someone who said, like, I know you guys came up with this mantra, partyless, leaderless, and so forth. We need a party. Let me tell you guys, we need a political party led by young people. Because that's the only way. In fact, this is going to scare them a lot. As much as we know, yes, we are partyless, we are leaderless, we need leaders, because there are these leaders that are going to champion for our rights. So it's this is the time. I'll be the happiest person to hear that we are registering a political party. And if we can call it Gen Z, I think that will be the best political party that you're going to forge forward. And in that party, then our mantra will be that we are united, we are one, we are Gen Zote, as someone did mention. This is the time we need to start thinking about this. The likes of KOT, the likes of Morara, the likes of these young, powerful leaders we have, the Tories, we need these people to start thinking and have like some think tanks where you guys can sit together and think, what is the way forward? How can we, register our political party? I need to hear people saying, "Oh, send us some money. We need to register a political party." That's what we need right now. I like what you guys are doing, going to Mashinani, telling these people. But one thing I can assure you, and I'm sorry, I'm not saying I'm a Kenyan, and I love my country so much. Sometimes we become so stupid, and Kenyans ni watu usahau haraka sana. As much as they will be charged right now, Ruto must go. My friend, when it comes to 2026, just 2 years from now, the narrative changes. Watu wenye walikuwa wanabeba matawi nao wameenda huko, they are singing yote yawezekana na Ruto sijui nini. Those things will come, they will come. They will start, musicians will start coming up with all these sorts of songs, to support these leaders, because we forget, tunasahau haraka sana. So don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. And that's why I'm saying, hii moto yenye tuko nayo saa hizi, let this fire never go to vain. Let's register a political party. Let's march forward. I want to see young people in parliament. I want to see Gen Zs in parliament. If you are on this platform and you feel uko na mwito, you want to be an MCA, you feel like you want to be a parliamentarian, this is the time. Don't let that fire go, because 2027, we need Gen Zs in the parliament. We need Gen Zs as MCS. We need to wote inafaa tuwafagie wote. The likes of Raila, we are now tired. We are tired. This is our time. This is our time. So let's march forward. Let's have young people in leadership position. Mambo ya kuogopa tu kwenda kwa street. I want to see KOT thinking like, how can I become a member of parliament? How can I become an MCA? How can I become, a CS and so forth? These are the things we need. Mukingoja at this Ruto atawapatia, mutashangaa sana, because he will be rewarding his cronies. And you can see when he formed his first government, you can see how he rewarded his cronies. Watu wenye wajasoma, people who even don't have any idea, and he started complaining himself, right? Because he's rewarding his cronies. Who tells you 2027 he will not do the same thing? Watu wenye wamemtetea right now, the likes of Kina Raila, these are the people who will be rewarded in 2027, just in case Ruto goes through. Lastly, as I finish, I have a problem with our justice system in this country. our head of the chief justice, yeye ndiye alisimama kabisa na akatumia even I don't know if I may say the language that is the and civic language that he used in the when he was describing the 2022 general election, especially when Raila went to court to protest the elections. They wish-washed us away, right? But now they are learning, and I thank God. Mungu naye alali. Wase Mungu alali. These people will be confused, all of them, and I'm praying they get confused kabisa. Yani 2027 ikifika, wakuwe wako confused, they don't know where to go. I'm just praying for total confusion. I'm not saying I want my country to be confused, but whatever they've done to the young people of Kenya, it's unforgivable. It's totally unforgivable. So the justice system, even in our country, needs to be reformed. You can see even people are not obeying court orders. How can if you do not obey court order, and you realize that now the people we've put in office in the justice system, they are just massaging these people. They know what they are doing. Right? So it's like we've lost it. It's like we are losing it on all fronts. The executive is confused. The parliament, they just want money to pass bylaws. The justice system that we have is also like it's not even, it's just like headless, right? So guys, I want young people, those people who've gone to school, those people, if you're aspiring to be a leader, 2027 tunafagia hawa wazee wote we tunafagia. Toria should think of becoming women's rep of Nairobi. Don't be afraid, because we need young people in this leadership position. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I beg to stop there.
Thank you so much. You've really stated it very well. And apologies first for my lame language previously, and my space was dropping on my side. So apologies for that. Amesha drop. Like the previous speaker said, like we need to stand up when you wanataka kuvai. Gen Zs, we need you in those seats. Go ahead and vie. We will be behind you, here backing you. Akina KOT, Akina Wanyama, Dennis, nothing. Go ahead, vie for those seats. We got you. We'll be here supporting you. And yeah, change starts with us. We cannot expect change, and yet you don't want to go ahead and replace that your MP who voted yes for the finance bill. You can't expect for change, and you cannot go ahead and vie for that governor who went ahead to build a hospital. UK, change starts with us, and yeah, it has been well stated. And let's not lose focus. That's what I can say for now. Let's hear our lady's voice. Nothing hard.
Hi, Taraya. Hi, KOT. Wanyama has dropped off. As usual, I start by saluting our comrades, the ones we lost. I still my heart aches for them. They were injured, and those who are still missing. Chime in on this conversation about Gachagua impeachment. But this thing is true. There is a fallout, but the only person who didn't see it coming is Gachagua himself. I think there were murmurs even during elections. He was supposed to be impeached way earlier than that. After election, he had run his course. But of course, there are no perfect people. He has made his errors, but it's none of our business. In fact, I want the impeachment to go through, because if that impeachment goes through, both of them go. this is a blessing in disguise. So we should not even be looking in their direction. We should focus on ourselves, because we need to get the movement together. We need to do civic education. I like what KOT is doing on the ground. In fact, I'm wondering, yesterday and today, KOT, your number has not been up. I'm supporting you. Isaac was talking about young people vying. KOT is actually vying Mumias East on every platform that I get a chance to speak on. I encourage young people to speak up. Now, I feel like these people are bombing us with chaos. When they bomb you with a lot of chaos, important things slip away. And when important information, like we were in a space earlier, I was running it's called, I called it door-to-door civic education. KOT can explain to you the challenges on the road. And they're doing a lot because they're shining light where democracy died, in those corners where democracy died. But picture if Entourage, Kina Morara, and so many other people are having impact. Imagine all of us in the spaces where we speak. If you talk to your family, you talk to your friends, you talk to everybody that you know, and encourage them to talk to others, it's going to create a ripple effect. Because you've heard people say ground need different. We do not want to have this imagination in our head that we got this and then the ground slips away, and that can happen. And so I'm of the opinion, because they've made the streets very dangerous, a lot of families still are hurting. People say, oh, this thing is failing. Failing where? We were not freedom fighters prior to what happened in this nation the last 2 years. So we learn and fail forward. Focus is in the entire country. The fact that the people protested in all the 47 countries, it says there is a seed somewhere. We need to take good care of that seed. We don't have to burden. Of course, Kena, we have to make sure that we keep KOT and Kina Morara on the road. But you as a person, you know someone. You have families. Those families are married to other families. You have friends you went to school with. You have neighbors. You know people from your church. Speak up. Speak to them. Spend your time, not just on spaces. We are very happy to hear you, but off the spaces, make a point of doing a door-to-door campaign and sensitizing people. We need to have now a viable way of doing it. Today, on that space, there was a lawyer who there are so many, they're making Kenya sounds like it's not going to be a prison and a police state where they're consolidating different arm of government to make sure that if something happened, the military, the police, the PSAs, and so many other fraternities can sit and make a decision on how to tackle protest, because they're increasingly criminalizing a right offered in the Constitution. So we need people, like the space I was on, I had to collapse it as soon as, I don't know where RSG is, he was co-hosting for me. As soon as KOT started, I was telling these guys I need to get off, because I believe in what he does. I believe in the people who turn up for him, and I needed to turn up for him personally. So we need to have a group where we know when KOT is hosting, KOT is addressing civic education. We need people who are going to address agricultural matters. We need legal matters. We need education. People we know if, say, it's Mweru hosting, Mweru is talking about education. So that people, because you can have someone on agriculture and they have absolutely no interest, or education and they have no interest. And so the passion to pursue this can die down. But when someone finds their purpose, they run with it, and there's no looking back on that. That way, we continue screaming on, oh, not when teachers are striking, the strike, we watch from the periphery, it fizzles out. So that trying to consolidate, if it's lecturers, now that they're being tear gas, they need to teach the students the need for civic education, following up on their voters' cards, following up on their IDs. Those are the kind of structures we need, so that by the time we say we are hitting the street again, it will be a mammoth, because someone is highly convicted that, for me, I'm standing for healthcare. Someone else is standing up for education, farmers. That will be a group that cannot be broken. But when we juggle up too many things, and I'm not saying what we are doing is wrong, I'm simply saying we need to figure it out early, because these guys are looking at us and saying, what do young people know? And it's true, we are learning as we go. We need to scoop that ground and have it in our hands, because the minute you grasp it, they can't take it away. Remember, the people on the ground, those are our parents, our grandparents. We need to talk to them in a language that they understand. So my opinion is, we need to buy Bluetooth speaker, these messages that are so beautiful that we share here, translate them. There's an AI app that can translate. Or we can have people go to studio, translate the bills. If it's agriculture, livestock, translate them. On market days, would rather raise money for that person. They go and sit with that Bluetooth speaker in a market. Of course, the first day it will be curiosity and weirdness, but as they hear in their own language the issues that are affecting them, they will pay attention. They'll be looking forward to that. You can't go one day and tell a farmer all these things. They'll just sigh in defeat. But when they realize, by this is going to affect you, they get time to think about it. This is going to affect you this way. They think about, with time they start getting, they start piecing it together. They're like, oh, when they're saying this, it means this. I'm going to defend my land. I'm going to defend my farming. I'm going to defend my food security. And by the time we have an opportunity to face an election, and remember, the government is a strategy at the moment, because they know the majority is young people. They want to make sure that there is no new registration. Yet the older folks have been conditioned by these people through the churches. So to unpack that mess, we need to have a strategy, and that strategy has to go to the ground. The people who, like QT, came on the space and has been consistent, the people who will be going to the ground and translating those messages, because there'll be people who be curious, can we have this conversation? They will be the leaders we need. We can't pop leaders online. It will not happen. Or Murara just stood out for himself, and we resonated with what he's doing. KOT the same, and so many other voices. So guys, let's decide if it's on KOT space where we're going to raise money, buy Bluetooth speakers, have them on long distance transport, have them in marketplaces, have them in salons, and
I think you just proceed.
okay, I'm saying people with beautiful voices can hit the studio, translating their mother tongue, and we get those speakers in salons, marketplaces, and our work will be heading the right direction. So, may I ask KUT if you can put your number up? If these people agree, we start fundraising. We look for people on the ground. The way you educated that person about how much tax he's paying through tokens. We'll continue getting this done. The minute we have the ground, this thing is done. It's over, first round. So people should not be very focused on the street protests, because we have had so many casualties. We need to stand with the families who have been affected. We need to throw our love around them. Go into unis instead of being on the street. Let this movement go underground. Go to unis. Reason with those guys. Reason with the lecturers. We keep moving. We go to hospital. We talk to the entire nation. And imagine if one person does 10 people, and then it continues replicating. Before you know it, the whole country will know a new dawn has come. But the new dawn will not come when we are speaking to ourselves. So let's find people who can do voice overs over these messages. First, we have to make sure that it's the right message going out. Look for people. Even if we're going to pay the people who will turn up for those market days, we will support them for as long as they can go to the market and upload the videos of what they did, so that they are not bought by people, and then the messages that are being churned out is against us. We saw that with the bill. So me, I'm of the opinion, KOT, put the number up. Let's contribute money for Bluetooth speakers. Let's identify people who can even be on those public transport. Like you have seen how much work Willie Oeba, I hope I'm not massacring his name, how much work he has done, and people are taking notice. Joshua started on public transport. So let's put our money where our mouth is. The ground is where the real deal is. To change those people's mind, we have to speak in their language. Remember, politicians gain vote through the people on the ground. It's the MCA who's powerful. But for now, that MCA cannot. He look at where his bread is buttered. So young people on the ground are the voices who are going to stand up, rise up, channel out the message, because people know there's a problem, but for some it's not quite clear. And that's why these people can turn out some, including if they are given money by politicians, let them take the money, but remember that we need them out. That is the only way we will win this war. So if you guys agree with me, Marvin, KOT, put your number up, people contribute, then we start looking at, because that is a strategy. But what if it falls apart? Where we find there's an error, fix it, pick ourselves up, go, fix and go. Because the only direction is to fail forward. I yield the mic. Thank you.
And I think I heard that you had a question, and please rephrase it. I only just came back. Just this one, Yama. You had a question? Nothing, K.
No, I did not have a question. I was suggesting that we need to have the movement active underground, whereby we reach the masses. And I think I highlighted on what the issues are about these people, because if they impeach each other, they're both going to go. I think both of them, I don't think Gachagua will sit there and be fought. He'll fight back. And that might be the wind that we might benefit from. So before we can benefit from anything, let's take the message to the ground. Thank you.
Hapo sawa. We've heard you loud and clear. In fact, me, I was thinking, watu unaona vile Ruto anaenda sijui wapi kwa ground huko. Unakumbuka vile Mwambili alikuwa anafanya? Mwambili Mwagodi. Huyo TLL ndio alikuwa anafanya. Akienda hapo mahali anagather crowd pia hapo sasa kidogo tu. Didmus Baraza used that strategy, by the way, in case you didn't know. He used to wait for people, the opposition, to gather crowds. Mkisha gather crowds, mkisha toka, yeye anaingia hapo sasa. Like you've done the job for him. We could also do a similar thing. Pali wanaenda, if they get to campaign mode, pia si tunaingia campaign mode. But I hear you. I don't know, Binti.
So Wanyama, I wanted to respond to Nothing KE. Of course, she asked if we can do a contribution and buy some Bluetooth speaker, and of course, she just came in on the right time, because at times we were touring some places where we cannot actually use the public address system. Yeah, like there are some videos we've shared. We were just talking to people on the ground, and of course, you find out that it takes sometimes kuna wenye walikuwa wanapiga kelele, so you want something like to amplify that voice. And of course I agree with her, but then we have these people who are using public transport to offer civic education. Of course we can as well give them the small PA, or I mean the small Bluetooth devices zenye wanaweza tumia. And at times kama there is a day Oweba was on a bus and she wanted to to speak here on space, but now ikakuwa issue sana because of the noises. And so nothing here, I think I'll talk to you, then we see how we can identify those people who are doing civic education on their own up on ground. If we get those Bluetooth speakers, we give them, then tuendelee kuinject. So
hello. I just have a question. Is somebody getting me?
Yeah, we can get you, Sky Minds.
Oh, thank you. I was asking. I was actually really concerned about Bluetooth speakers. Which content is in the Bluetooth speaker? Like inasema nini? So, for example, tuko na Bluetooth speaker inafaa iseme nini ama nini iko hapo ndani? Which kind of education iko hapo? Like itakuwa ikisema nini?
Mabonga.
The message is like
Go ahead.
message we can put on the
Yes,
we can broadcast on from the Bluetooth speaker is like the punitive bills, the issues that the government, the changes that they're making, like in education, how that will affect even parents who don't have students in the, at the university currently, but eventually will get there. The healthcare bills, the agriculture, the livestock bill. That's the information we need to get out there.
Oh, okay. I'm also really concerned about that. You know, currently the government is really fighting so hard to put us down. I'm sure you know that the government is looking at all the ways to make sure that we actually down. That is why you see a lot of division everywhere. There's actually a division in Nyanza. There's also in Nyanza province, the whole Nyanza. No one knows where to follow. And there's also a very serious division in Mount Kenya. So there's a very serious problem going on. So I'm trying to imagine how we are going to put that. Umejua tukiweka vitu kama speaker. Okay, that is my opinion kindly. I'm not saying you buy it. For example, when you stand somewhere and you have a bill, watu wanazoea hizi speakers zinakuanga na worship song ama praise song. So ukianza kuweka kitu yenye kwa against the government, ita spur out a lot of things. Na watu watashikwa wengi sana. Like, najaribu kuimagine venye itakuwa, but anyway, that is actually my own thought. Alafu kitu ingine mi actually ningesema, I don't know if it was my time because I was just concerned about the speaker. Can I continue alafu nimalize? Can I continue, Edley?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. No, I was also actually I also sorry. I was also concerned about this kind of confusion actually in Mount Kenya. Says Mount Kenya, by the way, our hata ni nani. So this impeachment is going to really benefit the politician. Most of the politicians are going to benefit. Na mimi ningeomba sana kama hii education, I don't know if we can have a plan on how we are going to educate this thing. Maybe we start from Mount Kenya. Mount Kenya need a lot of education. If there is a very serious investment in civic education, we really need to invest in Mount Kenya. I'm telling you because you know very well that Mount Kenya stands at a very serious gap when it comes to voting. Because they always decide. So wakiamua wanafanya kitu wanafanya hivyo. Wakidanganywa wote wanafanya hivyo. I stay in Mount Kenya but I don't come from Mount Kenya and I know what I'm saying. So Mount Kenya really need a lot of civic education. I don't know how we can do that. If we can save Mount Kenya, then I'm sure the rest of Kenya will get that direction. Mount Kenya really need a lot of civic education. And you guys, I'm sure you know very well that currently the government is determined to actually silence everybody. That is why I'm sure you've seen there is a way currently the police are treating people is not like the way they were actually treated during the Gen Z protest. Currently they have actually grown very inhuman, very very inhuman. Ukiona tu maandamano mahali popote, polisi wanakuja hapo, mnapigwa tu literally, na hata hakuna kitu mmefanya. Alafu they actually know that we are covering it, but hawaoni kama kuna kitu. You guys, I don't know if you saw what happened in Nairobi. Lecturers, my friend, it was very bad. If lecturers can be shown, lecturer hata hawajafanya anything, hawajabomoa nyumba, hawajachoma anything. You guys, I'm going to tell you, I'm actually telling you, if any maandamano inaweza toka saa hii kwa Gen Z, watu wanaweza pigwa vibaya sana. So currently I'm sure this guy is really determined to put us down. Anything inajaribu kuamka kidogo itazimwa. Anything kitu inaitwa maandamano, watu watakuwa na pigwa vibaya. So the government is literally designing a way of putting down anything against them. So my own view, as I finish kindly, my own view on the movement, mimi nilikuwa naona kama tunaweza fanya hii civic education, hiyo ni maoni tu yangu, because obviously tukienda kwa ground sisi wote, kwa mfano watu wengi, government ikianza kuona watu wengi sana sasa wameanza kuamuka kwa against the government, wanaongea tu vitu mbaya, na kwa streets wanaongea, they will start arresting people, and that is when tutaanza kuona sawa kama kina Morara wanaweza hata shikwa, by the way. So wanatafuta tu kitu yenye itafanya Morara ashikwe. Sasa hizi wameshindwa, watashika aje? Lakini wanatafuta anyway. So tukikuwa wengi sana kwa streets tukiongea the same thing, naona kama tunaweza zima. Mimi kitu yangu nilikuwa nasema ni tuache Morara atembee kwa streets, atembee akicollect watu, akiongelesha tu watu, and then sisi watu wengi kabisa tunge stick online. So this guy atembee tu, kama kuna venye tunaweza sponsor kidogo, tunaweza msponsor, kama kuna venye tunaweza kumsupport, kama tunaweza mjoin, but most of these movements tuzifanye online tu for this time. Tuendelee tu we spite online kabisa, make sure that even people from abroad kabisa, the conversation online ikwe Twitter, ikwe wapi, ikwe everywhere, should just be civic education, ikwe online sana. Then when the time comes in, for example, let us just make people against the government, but to make sure tuna maximize sana ikwe online, kwa sababu tukiingia kwa streets as early as now, Ruto is still on the seat. Sijui kama tunaweza muimpeach, sijui itakuwa aje. Sisemi ati tuwezi impeach, but this guy has actually seated there. It is going to be very hard for us to remove him unless ni hiyo kitu ya kura. So ni kama tunajipanga kwenda kutoa ujamaa na kura by 2027, then mimi my own option ndo to avoid hii early arrest na kuzimwa mapema kabisa, to maximize sana online civic education.
Bro, hebu kiasi. Mbona tukwe tunaogopa kwenda kuongea hapo kwa ground, alafu tutuongea hapa kwa space? Watu wangapi wako hizi spaces bana? Mimi personally si agree na wewe. Mimi si agree na wewe kabisa.
Sawa.
Yo ni mimi si agree na wewe. Unless kuna watu wengine pia wanakubali. Tuache kwa ground tuongee tu hapa spaces.
Ilikuwa tu nika option. Mimi sina like, I'm just trying to imagine venye itakuwa kwa ground kama kila mtu ako so much nuisance against the government, na wanatuangalia.
Watashika kila mtu kwa ground venye tumekuwa ground, wako na shika kila
mtu. Yo niaje.
Tulia kwanza, Nyali and King. Tulia, tunataka.
Umejua watu wanaweza shika kila mtu.
Wewe acha kututishia bro. Wewe
si watishia.
Umekuja hapa kututishia, na tunakushukuru sana kwa maoni yako. Acha tusonge mbele.
Acha ni nyamaza. Okay, sawa.
Juu unatutishia, na sisi hatutaki kutishika. Honestly hatutaki kutishika. Ukianza kuja hapa kutuambia ati tutaenda kwa ground tushikwe, wewe unaanza kututishia. We have been on the ground each and every single day.
Lakini msiseme niko government blogger mzee. Mimi bwana
venye tu unaongea because you are here to send fear to us. We are too broke bana. We are broke even by fear. Wacha niangalie timeline yako kwanza.
Skymind, hiyo inaitwanga fear mongering. That's the correct word for it. Alafu
So
ya
you
pili.
so you
Alafu ya
need to
pili. Ngoja,
you
hapa tutakufukuza. Tunakuambia tu kweli, huko hatukufukuzi. Tunakuambia tu kweli. Ya pili, I want to debunk your idea yako ya kusema ati sijui watu wa Mount Kenya ndio wanahitaji civic education. Hapana. Civic education is everywhere. And I will shout at the topmost of my voice. In the game of numbers, you guys, you're becoming very blind to what Ruto is doing. He does not care at the moment about Mount Kenya because he is empowering Western. Bungoma pali tunatoka. Voter turnout ilikuwa 20%, at most 40%. Endeleeni kusema Mount Kenya. He's not stupid maintaining Prime Minister's office and Speaker's office to a certain level. He is not. You might call it tribal at this point, but I'm telling you, for the longest time, Western Kenya has not been well acquainted with these elections. Na hawajakuwa wakitokezea. In the little numbers they have been showing up with, they have been giving a difference in the numbers ya hiyo voter results. Watch what is going to happen. Endeleeni tu kusema murima. Ngojeni. You see what is going to happen.
so hiyo ujinga ni itoe kwa akili.
Ni wewe mwenyewe kuamua. Si tunakwambia tu kweli. Ni wewe mwenyewe. Unajua the good thing with this movement is tunakuwa advise uamue kama utaamua kutumia akili ama utumia ya wenyewe. Ni tu wewe mwenyewe tu kuamua at this point. Kwa sababu the facts ziko, tumeamua kuacha kuishi with wannabe ideas. Tuishi tu na realities. Tuishi na realities saizi. Population census, angalia vile ilikuwa. Usiangalie mbali from there. That's where the voter registration is going to happen from. Same. So at some point it's coming that tutabidi tuanze wase kusema kama hujachukua ID chukua. Wale wenye watakuwa liable to vote by that time, pia we are supposed to sensitize them. Wengine wako high school saizi karibu wanamaliza. They might be viable voters at that time. Those are the things we need to think about tukiangalia from that way. But hii story sijui ati ya murima ya nini, one way of making them not get what they want is splitting the vote. That's also mbona muangalie hiyo from a political angle. Split the vote, get something from the share, and with that small that you have as a beginner unaweza amua what to do with it. But do not lose sight of what I'm telling you guys. Western Kenya, mpende msipende, mnaongeanga tarakanithi, I'm from there. I'm telling you, never have I seen people loving politics like right now in where I come from. Never have I seen. People have been living without identity cards for the longest. Uko chief sahi, get me any chief from Western Kenya. Mukasa, tunaitanga Mukasa. Anyone from Western Kenya can tell you that. Our village elders. Saizi hizo ndo kazi zao.
I know actually.
So, endeleeni kusema Murima left, right and center. He does not care about that because he knows where he's
nimerudi Wanyama, nimerudi na Sky Mines, sijui unaitwa hate camera. Bwana, usijaribu kutuletea vitisho baridi hapa. Kama ni kutushika, acha tuende kwa street wenye tutaenda tushikwe. Kama ni kufungwa, acha tufungwe. But hii mambo ya tusiende kwa ground, tuongee tu hapa kwa space, honestly mimi siwezi kubaliana na wewe. Nimekuwa kwa call fulani hapa, but honestly I can't agree with you. Because we cannot just be speaking here. Hizi spaces haziwezi bring change in our nation if you want change. And so tutoe hiyo mind ya sijui tutashikwa ama nini. Ni watu wangapi wameenda streets, wangapi wameshikwa? Sisi tumekuwa tukishikwa. But we are here. So
personally by the way, nilikuwa hata nilivunjika mguu by the last maandamano tulienda. I was actually broken my leg. Nilikuwa jaribu tu ku imagine vitu, but anyway I think I've bought your point. I'm now okay. Nyinyi watu msiseme mimi niko sijui against Gen Z ndo mnifukuze kwa nini. No. I was just trying to give it my mind, but I think I now buy what you're saying and I'm now well. Watasema ati mimi nimeanza kuchomea. No, hapana.
Sawa.
Guys,
Sawa.
let me tell you, Wanyama, Sorry. Hi, by the way. Hello, guys. Sorry. But it's okay. Sky Minds ni sawa too, because maybe whatever you were thinking, it's the same way somebody else down there, the listeners, was thinking. So it's okay for you to come and say whatever you want to say, and then we'll see the way we just corrected you. Somebody else is going to get corrected through you. So ni sawa too. Don't worry about it. We're not going to call you anything. Everybody's welcome to come and speak. Lakini just know if you do say something wrong, we'll correct you.
Thank you, guys. I'm still healing. By the way, I was broken my leg during the protest.
Sawa. Pole sana for that, Sky Minds. Actually, let me take it back and push it to the next speaker. But nayo mguu bana, hata kama bado haijapona, tunakuomba tu upiganie nchi. Whenever you can, please, endelea kupigania nchi.
Yes.
Let's keep
I'm
fighting.
doing a lot. I'm doing a lot, actually. I really appreciate.
Sawa. Keep coming to the spaces and voicing your concern as you've done it. Na tunasonga mbele. Right? Who was next? Binti?
So Mimi, you haven't even introduced me.
Okay,
anyway, let's get Why is so Tonga and I call you as my first speaker, you don't answer me, like what's going on?
No.
Come on now.
Hi guys. Hi Binti. Hey, umejam. Leo sijui nani amekukosea. So,
Niruto.
I was actually trying to turn on my mic, then inanipeleka kwa account ya mse, but I'm back. So nimepata conversation ikiwa between Sky Minds and Wanyama, and they were talking about maandamano. Sorry, I was a bit late today. Kuna vitu nilikuwa nashughulikia hapo kwa ground. Now, unajua kuna kitu nimesikia mtu akisema, hata tukwe tuna hold space hapa daily, it is changing nothing. The real thing is supposed to be happening in the ground. Hapa, it's just for us to plan on how to execute. On the right way, we are going to perform. Na vitu zingine zi happen kwa grao. Bila grao, hawa hawajui shit. Tumekuwa na Keoti Sonko kwa grao for the past like 3 days in Mount Kenya. Na nakwambia, if we continue that way with civic education, we are changing a lot. Ni watu wengi hawana a lot of information. Imagine Keoti Sonko was explaining to somebody ya kwamba akilipa token ya 50, 20 shillings ni tax. And that guy is not aware that analipa tax. Unamuuliza, wewe unalipanga tax? Hajui kama analipa tax. Na hiyo ndio kitu yenye Wakenya inafaa wajue. Kwa sababu Mkenya kama huyo, hata akisikia sahi 1 billion imeibiwa, akisikia 20 billion imeibiwa, akisikia 300 million imeibiwa, hajui uchungu yake kwa sababu anasema si pesa yake. Na watu wengi sana wako huko interior. They need to learn a lot. So it's for us to kuje, volunteer, let us push the message, let us educate these people. Kwa sababu without educating them, we are heading nowhere. Tutashinda tu hapa social media, nimeongea na kina Sky Mind, nimeongea na Wanyama, nimeongea na nani, but the real deal is on the ground. And that is where Ruto hutumia advantage. Kwa sababu yeye sahi ako na agents wake, wamepewa pesa, waendelee kusifu jina yake pale chini. 2027 ikifika, kama hatutakuwa ready, atatunyorosha kwa game yetu. And that is what we are trying to avoid. Kwanza hata hatutaki ifike 2027. We are very tired with this country. Hii country imekuwa tu kitu ingine yenye hata you don't feel proud of Kenya. Mtu hata akikuuliza unatoka wapi, you don't want to tell them where you come from. We want a better country. We are the leaders of tomorrow. Usiseme hauna do, usiseme hauna chochote. You just stand up, begin the journey. Safari ya 1000 miles begins with one step. That step is important. Before you make the second step, utakuwa ushapata direction. Sisi wote tunangangana. Sisi wote tuna struggle. Don't give up. Our government bloggers achana na wao. Tunajua they are paid. Some are even paid poorly, up to 200 shillings per day. Na amekutusi hapo, mnaweza dhani analipwa millions of money. Kwao shida hakuna. Kumbe kwao shida iko, anajaribu kukimbia hiyo poverty na kulipwa 200 per day. That is bad. It is really bad. Poverty is our enemy. Na hiyo poverty ndio yenye wanasiasa hutumia. They put us into this situation ya kwamba you are not able to acquire something, you are only able to feed yourself once a day, you are able to do these casual jobs, hawezi pata jobs zenye zinalipa poa, ndio tuendelee kuishi kwa hiyo poverty. Kwa sababu tukitoka hapo, there will be hawatakuwa watu kwetu, they will have no meaning to us, na hiyo ndio kitu hawataki. You just watch. I want to give you an example. How many companies have come to Kenya, international companies, zenye zilikuwa zinataka kusaidia wa Kenya, especially online jobs. What happened to them? Talent jobs. What happened to them? What hata nisiende mbali. Let me just touch an example of our own SportPesa. What happened to SportPesa, which was nurturing talents? Yenye imetuletea hadi timu ya England. Vijana wetu hapa wametoka ghetto, wakapata nafasi ya kucheza na wachezaji wa England, wakapata opportunities. They are growing, wana renovate stadiums, wanajenga stadiums, wanapewa wachezaji wetu kits. Si wachezaji wa national team, hawa wachezaji wenye wako na talanta wenye hawaonekani. What happened? The government killed it. Government inaua kabisa, ina make sure they don't exist. Hawataki. Si ati tumeshindwa kusaidika kama Kenya tukue like the countries we always given examples every day like Singapore. But our borders are not open. Investors can't stay in Kenya even for a second. The economy is too harsh. Taxes every right, left, center, every corner need taxes. Sasa business itagrow aje? Kama mimi mwenyewe siwezi survive kwa hii Kenya. What about somebody who is coming to invest into Kenya? Atakaa kweli? So guys, there is a lot of work to do that need us. Inatuhitaji sisi wote, si mtu mmoja. Si tuachie sijui KOT, si tuachie Morara, si tuachie sijui nani anafanya. We need to do it right, left and center, tusiwape nafasi wapomwe. Kama tumeamua ni hapa, ni hapa. That is the only way we are going to go. Hata sahi nasema tukitoa rais, tumetoa president, lakini bado parliament imebaki hii mkebe ya watu wenye tuko nao sahi kwa serikali. People who are very useless, hakuna kitu wanatusaidia. Ni tumbo zao wanajaza tu hapa na kuiba pesa right and left. Hakuna kitu tutakuwa tumefanya, kwa sababu anything yenye president atakuwa anataka ya kusaidia wa Kenya haitakuwa inaenda through. Sahi we have somebody who is saying anateswa, anadhulumiwa, anateswa na ako ndani ya serikali. Ako na mshahara ya ushuru ya Wakenya. Ako na security yenye ni Wakenya wanalipa. Anatumia expenditure kutoka kwa mfuko ya ushuru ya Wakenya. Na anasema anadhulumiwa. Anadhulumiwa na nani? Si awache hiyo kazi. Kwanza kitu ya kwanza akuja tuambie ni pesa ngapi ameiba, na ni nini wanakorofishana, na ni deal gani hiyo yenye amekataa kupatiwa, yenye anaanza kusema hapa ati sijui anadhulumiwa, sijui anateswa. Hiyo mambo hatutakubali. We are not going to give any politician sympathy votes again. Kwa sababu inatuumiza sisi, inarudisha uchumi yetu nyuma, tunavotia watu wanakuja tu kazi yao ni kuiba. We were in a place called Karura with KOT Sonko. Hata anaweza testify na aseme. It is very sad. That place has a dispensary. Mtu akitaka kuzaa, mama akitaka kuzaa anaenda 30 plus kilometers ndio azae. Wengine wanazalia kwa barabara wanakufa. It is very sad. MP alionekana hapo time ya campaign. MCA alionekana time ya campaign. Governor alionekana time ya campaign. President alifika huko time ya campaign. But saa hii hakuna mtu ashawahi fika huko. Hospitali hiyo dispensary inafunguliwa 2 days in a week. KOT Sonko ni witness, and the rest we were there. Many of them wako hapa, but they were there. See, things are not right. Tusiongee tu hapa kwa space, tuingie ground. Let us push. Na mtu yote mwenye anafeel anataka kujoin the movement, feel free to DM. Come, whatever thing you want to support. You might not be on the ground, but unaweza to support in one way or another. Kwa sababu it's not easy. Watu wengi tumewacha shughuli tunafanya, tunaenda kupeana hii civic education. It is tough. Kuna you have the expenses to food to eat after umetoka huko grao. You need to look for a place to sleep. Una fuel ya gari. So, it's a lot. It's a tough journey, lakini we must conquer. Kwa sababu Ruto lies all the time. And all the time Ruto lies. And that is his nature. Nothing is going to change if we don't put in effort and action. Asanteni sana kwa kunisikiliza. Voice of Songarena.
So voice of Tongaren, I just jumped in kwa nini, just the nini venye umesubmit. And so guys, honestly, on the ground, especially huko mlimani, huko mahali mnasema sijui on the mountain, people are really suffering. Hiyo constituency umesema inaitwa Mbeere South, mahali kunaitwa Karura. Yeah, huko mahali bana, it's interior, hakuna stima, hakuna maji, hakuna dispensary venye jamaa anasema. Huko shopkeepers kitu wako nayo tu ni majani, sukari, hizi vitu ndogo ndogo tu. Najua like it's like almost 30 degrees centigrade. Na vumbi, njia yao like ni vumbi tu. Honestly, watu mnatoka hiyo constituency kama uko hapa, and you feel like you can bring change in that constituency, ensure that MP mwenye hapo he goes home as early as hiyo siku tutapiga kura ya kwanza. I talked to a certain mother there, na hospitali dispensary inafanya huko, it only operates on Monday and Tuesday, and marking that dispensary there is no maternity ward, hakuna hata choo. Madam alikuwa anatuambia hii dispensary yetu hapa haina choo hapo ndani, there's no latrines. Anyway, acha tu tuendelee. Nyalian King, jambo. Sijui kama ananisikia Wanyama binti, so you can tell that.
Nyalian King. Nyalian King, I can see your hand up. Can you hear us? Okay, sawa tuende kwa Samuel Kasuni. Samuel Kasuni.
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, good evening. Talk to us.
Good evening, and thank you for the space. And thank you for KOT Song for accompanying Morara to his civic tours. I think now we trust more that we are getting more involved in the ground civic education. Mine is to say that for us who are not able to go on the ground, let's come on Morara's Twitter account, so that there are so many government bloggers there who are watching everything he posts, so that they can paint a very different picture. And one of the biggest fear of the government right now is having a party that will be able to be against the big two parties. We know that ODM is owned by Raila, UDA is owned by Ruto, Wiper is owned by Kalonzo. So those are three biggest enemies right now for Morara and the rest. So the other thing is Morara needs to package himself to be a movement, not the name itself. So we need to see, like when we are talking with KOT Song, we should know that we are talking with a movement representing a certain agenda. So he needs to increase the number. I've seen several people asking him to also reach out to people like Paul Kimani to be able to accompany him, so that all those people who are seriously involved in the movement, even though we don't know their motive right now, they can be seen with him, and people build more and more trust in those people. So mine is just a general request for us, maybe who are in Kenya or in diaspora. Let's be the first people to be able to defend the movement and watch. Lastly, all the big bloggers, we call them the big wigs. I also saw them that they have a narrative, they are against any political party, because those are activists. Those are people who work for the highest bidder. So having a certain direction and making certain initiative more ideologically aligned with more people is a threat to them. So let's be very careful with those big bloggers. Even when they are with us, we should be very careful, because they can join us and destroy us from inside. So let's ask everybody to come on board, but we be very careful. But so for now, all the problems of Kenya starts with politics. And the politics is through a political party. Nothing less than that. So that is what we should be targeted on. Lastly, we can't erase the issue of tribalism. Right now, what you are seeing is, I saw band being grilled in the parliament. So Ruto is setting up some people so that can be seen like they are being fought to create the emotion. So Ruto has no chance of winning 2007 election. The only way he can win is through emotions. So he'll try as much as possible to do things which are very extreme, so that people can know that you cannot be in power without politics or following your tribe. So he'll make the most tribal appointments that will make people so emotional to think that unless you belong to certain tribe in government, you'll never get any position in the government. That's a strategy very well, and it's working. So let's work against those forces. Those who cannot, will try as much as possible to support financially, and everybody to play his own role. But at the end, let's see that we have a common end goal of having a good governance. Once we have good parties like what you see in UK or US, where a party like Democratic or Republicans is owned by nobody, it's just there. People can just be crowdfunded. Then I think we'll be able to move forward. He also needs to. The other thing, lastly, maybe is that issue of trying to reach out to these other guys. Like I don't know whether they are with us, people like Eric Omondi. I'm not sure. I've not been close to them, but let him reach to them so that when we have only one voice of Gen Z every time, so that we don't have one person speaking in a different perspective. Let him reach to this lady. We really fought her when she tried to expose some DMs, but all those people, we need them on board. That should be the spirit of the movement. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Samuel. One thing I want to say is you're very right. This thing needs all of us to be speaking in one voice. We need to be united at once. And you're right, the diaspora, we need to be the biggest supporters, because you see, we're not suffering the same struggles as those guys on ground as such, physically, virtually to us. So we need to be the biggest supporters. So that actually brings me to my next question, because I wanted to actually direct it to Voice of Tongaren. Guys, let me ask you, do you think that these spaces are pointless? Do you think that we're just wasting our time here? Yes, I agree. 100% agree that we need to be on the ground. That's not a question at all. But do you think that these spaces are useless? Because if they are, then why do we just stop doing them?
Yeah, Binti, I maybe you misunderstood my point. I didn't actually mean that the spaces that we are hosting are actually useless, because you see, these spaces are giving us an opportunity to interact with the world. Let me not say about Kenya alone, because we have people who are on this space from outside Kenya. So it's giving us an opportunity to air our voices, to speak about it. It is not actually useless, juu tunapanga kila kitu hapa. Then the rest ni action kwa ground. But you see, at times inafika to a point whereby if we can discuss something here, plan, and then if we get the execution point, and then nothing happens, so naona hakuna kitu tutakuwa tumefanya. So I was actually talking on a point where I wanted to encourage anybody who is on this space. Yakwamba, when we have something, a movement that is going on the ground, they appear. Isikuwe tu wanaapia kwa space na kwa grawa wakuji. Kwa sababu if we are going to continue that way, kutakuwa na any action. We can be here throughout. Talk, plan, say where you feel something is not going right, wapi kuko wrong. But kama tuingi ground pia, haita make that big difference. But the space is very important. Juu bila hii space sahi, hakuna mtu angekuwa anajua kuna mtu anaitwa Voice of Tongaren. Hakuna mtu angekuwa anajua kuna Binti Africa. Hakuna mtu angekuwa anajua what are your thoughts. What are you actually thinking? What are your plans? How can we do it? Haingekuwa. Pia hii space, we are getting a lot of support. You see, that day we had an accident. Tukiwa na kina KOT kwa gari ya Morara. You see, kuna watu walitutafuta wakatucall, waka make sure tuko sawa. They even supported us with any alternative yenye walikuwa nayo, walitusaidia. Others walitubaya hadi breakfast asubuhi. So these spaces are important kwa sababu we are linking. We are getting those connections zenye hatungepata tu tukiwa kwa ground. So ni ile tu, we want to make sure we are leaving no stone unturned. Be it online, on social media, be it on the ground. Wacha kila kitu ichemke kila pahali. Isichemke tu kwa media peke yake. Something else?
No, so understood. I just wanted to get some clarification, and for any minds that are unsettled in the listeners panel, I wanted you to be their voice in quotes. So thank you very much, voice of Tongaran.
And to add up on something before you wind up, anajua it's not easy. You see, being a host on this space, si rahisi. I know you guys are sacrificing a lot. Simu zenu saizi imechemka, ingine hata ni moto inaisha, ingine hata ni bundles inaisha kama huko kwa wifi. Like tukiwa na KOT huko kwa Grawa aliweka space na bundles zilikuwa zinampeleka teketeke. Ndio nikajua haikuangi kazi rahisi. Nikasema mimi hata nikiona ako kwa space na niko na kitu M-Pesa narusha teketeke. Narusha teketeke. Si rahisi. Ni tough. Na wale watu wenye mnaona mko na support yoyote mnaweza tupatia, jitokezeni. Tunawahitaji right now more than ever. Kuja, wewe unajua unaweza avail yourself, uko na gari, you are not hujashikana kazini, kuja gari yako tutumie kwa msafara iongezeke. Tukue wengi. Gen Z, hii ndio time yenu ya kupump sasa kabisa. Hiyo ingine wale watu wenye wayuko available kwa ground, wacha watu tuweke mafuta. Sisi tuende, tuingie grao. Mbaya. Tusiogope. Hiyo damu ya wale jenzi wetu wenzetu ndio maana amefanya, hao ndio watu tuna reject. Sauti ya mwananchi. Kenya ni home na home ni Kenya. Na mimi by the way nikipata support vizuri, lakini wacha nisiongee zaidi, wacha nipeane nafasi mwingine aongee. Saidiane majamaa.
Asante sana, voice of Tongaran. We hear you. Yes, kabisa vile nafaa. By the way, we need to support each other. Whether it's these spaces, qua ground, we need to inject this thing from all corners, literally all corners. I was going to go to Mweru next, but I don't know where she's gone. So Mweru, if you can hear me, just come back to the speakers panel and I'll give you to the listeners and I'll give you the mic. But for now, I'll go to Nyolamo. You had your hand up before. Are you here, Marie?
Yes, Binti, I'm here. I can hear you so well. Thank you so much for offering me this opportunity. It's all
Nyolamo too.
Yeah, it's always.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay, sawa. Let's go.
You can hear me?
Oh, can you guys hear Nyolamo too?
Can you guys hear me? Oh, okay.
Tunamsikia sisi, unless when do.
Okay, good. It's always a pleasure, man, to have this opportunity. Not for echoing anything here right now, but I don't have much to say. But one thing I wanted to emphasize on is at this time we need a positive energy. You know, even if we are not making it, we have to make it as a team. Always one team, one fight. You know, so. Hata kama wanatumia, I believe like even if they are using their own strategies to do whatever, if you know it's something that will discourage us, don't bring it here. Let's look for our way of going around it and making it possible. Then another thing that I wanted also to talk about, which Binti has talked about, everybody's talking about it here, is support. I was able to watch KOT this time, how they were doing it. In fact, there was a whole lot, and I kept on retweeting it and retweeting everything. So retweeting really matters a lot, because guess what? If you think you are the only one looking at it, somebody might not even just be looking at it. But if you have a friend and a friend has a friend and a friend has a friend, guess what? That retweeting will make it known that, hey, Morara did this, and you know Morara is having a lot of fight against him. So if people start joining the same thing, like mtu fulani alisema hapa, hey, let somebody take agriculture, somebody take whatever. So the ignorant Kenyans will start knowing that, hey, kumbe, this thing is serious. These are not just people who are to be on the street. These are people that really wants us to advance. And nothing ever comes as simple. So let's just do a lot, give these guys money, whatever we can give them, energy, if we can give them, whatever we can offer them, because they have volunteered to be over there. If I can't, let somebody do it for me and let me help them in another way. That's all I had today.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Nyalamo. I couldn't hear at first, but I'm back. I'm sorry. But I want to say, first of all, you're very right. However we can help, let's help. You even heard Voice of Tongaran saying that this thing, running this space is not easy. So if you can support Mabonga on that line, 07104 52543, please do, because he's spending his own money, his own time on this. So please support him, our brother, where you can. Again, this is Sauti ya Mwananchi, hosted by your very own KOT Sonko, aka Mavimabonga, co-hosted by myself, and we have a co-host, Wanyama, Ayo, Kowino, and Rabia. So please support this space through that number for Mavimabonga. Okay, so let's go to Masculinity Men Together Hub. Hi.
Yeah. Hi. Good evening, guys. Thanks for this opportunity.
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's okay. So actually, I want just to give my submission concerning the civic education. Actually, you guys are really doing a good work. But do we believe like maybe at the moment we really need that civic education? Because like bearing in mind, like most of us maybe voted for Ruto. Like we voted for Ruto and we are so much educated at the end of the day. So I think maybe we do vote based on emotions. And I think that's what trickles down to the community and the villages. And Maki, you're finding like maybe the government is so much clever now. They're really empowering those people like the chiefs, the sub-chiefs. So you'll find like getting to the people, it will be easier because somebody maybe has been employed by the government and maybe a large portion of them. So they'll end up saying like, if I vote the government out, my job will be gone. And maybe the beneficiaries who are benefiting from this employment will feel maybe they'll be threatened and stuff. So actually, I think it's all about like the government will be using blackmail and stuff, maybe to get whatever they want. Like they've created a system that maybe that will favor the government more. So I was just trying to think like, as far as we are talking about civic education, we should also impress on maybe the education system should be strong enough so that at least for the future, because where we are today or the voice that we have today is just courtesy of good education that maybe we received at some point, and we have now abandoned our ignorance because we have already learned that the voice and the decision depends on us and it really affects us in the future, or whatever we do really affects us in our day-to-day life. So actually we need to strengthen the education system. Like we should need to protect the education system of Kenya so that at least in the coming future, we can't have people maybe who may be less informed or less educated so that they can be manipulated by the government. And also this part of youth and politics, as much as we are really impressing to psyching one another to run for these offices, I think we need to strategize because at the end of the day, the system is so corrupt and the system is the one that has glitches. That's why most of the people, they have those ambitions, they have those agendas, but once they are in government, they do change. Like you won't even believe that this the same person was really, really advocating for the people and for the change. For instance, you can get the example maybe Ababu Namwamba. He was somehow young some years ago, and he was really, really vocal. And look at him now. You can see that guy, Mwirigi. Mwirigi never had money. When he was vying for these offices, I think he was walking around with some bicycle and stuff. And through sympathy, he got the opportunity to serve. Then, where is he now? The Toto girl and stuff. Actually, as much as we youths, we are really striving to join the government or to work with the government so that we can bring change, I don't think maybe that will be a solution. In the short term, actually, maybe we'll have maybe achieved our personal goals. But at the end of the day, as a country, we still lag behind. I was thinking like this. We try to fight maybe to make sure like the system will discourage those people who are who enter politics for money and or for personal benefits. Like for instance, maybe if we try through courts and stuff so that we can reduce this the salaries and maybe the packages for these elective seats, for instance, the members of parliament and stuff, so that at least that position should be a calling. Maybe you want to leave a legacy and maybe it's capped for 10 years. So you'll be required to work within that 10 years to accomplish whatever you wanted to accomplish. If maybe by that 10-year period you won't have accomplished, it would be like some form of regret because the legacy will not be there for you. And I think with that, people will be really, really serving the wananchi so that at least they can leave something behind that can be memorable and maybe can be by their name. And for instance, this MCS, it's actually most of these MCS, I think most are youths. And maybe they have this ambition, maybe they want to be MPs, they want to be presidents in the future, the governors. And I think those ambitions make them more corrupt because they'll want to gain more money so that they can go for higher offices. So I was just trying to think maybe if we just maybe regulate these salaries, we come up with some strategy where we'll now make sure like these MPs, these MCS, they'll have some certain salaries and maybe just cap to salaries, maybe whatever the CDF kit is and other funds, they are managed by independent bodies so that at least there'll be no conflict of interest where now it's like a pocket money for some certain MPs and stuff. I think with that, it will discourage people to enter politics. Most of the people will be there to serve wananchi, and at the end of the day, we'll get whatever we want. And also, this part where manifesto maybe is very, very important. I think we should have some certain form of regulation where at least we have a constant manifesto. Like party 1, party 2, party 3, they are given same manifesto. So their main concern should be like to address how they'll make sure like they accomplish this 1, 2, 3 manifestos. Not that you are just being creative, you create your own manifesto that maybe you think is better than your competitor. But at the end of the day, you know, like I won't be doing anything. You see, like maybe you can just go back maybe 2013, you had these laptop things by the government. And actually they tried it, but it never worked very well. That's why it was dumped and maybe somebody else picked something else. And Makiu, this is something that we have invested a lot of money as a country. It has been budgeted and stuff, but there's no accountability for such a thing. So I think it should be people-centered manifesto where now we try at some point where we raise our issues, maybe as much as maybe those people are moving around with civic education, they should also be trying to gather whatever problems they have in such a particular community so that at least these manifestos should be people-centered. And at the end of the day, I was also thinking if they can have devolution of whatever they're trying to do so that at least if you are in Bungoma, you are organized, people from Bungoma can do some oversight, can do some civic education, not maybe Koti Soja is in Karura, tomorrow it'll be in Mombasa and stuff. As much as it will gain some popularity and maybe you'll be moving around, maybe you're doing some work. But I think at the end of the day, you'll be exhausted and we'll have maybe limited leaders at the end of the day because in Kenya, maybe we want youth leaders in every constituency or in every county and stuff. But maybe if we'll all drive our energy towards 3 people, 4 people, at the end of the day, these 4 people won't bring much change that maybe we are really yearning for. So actually, my submission was, let's embrace maybe, let's help whatever we can from our little level. Let's participate, let's support one another. And also, like you people should try to work together. I saw that girl maybe who was trying to fight the slogan Kenyan home. Actually, I think if we can just incorporate one another, we can agree, we can disagree, but at the end of the day, maybe if we have a common interest, we can put our differences aside and work together so that we can make sure by 2027, at least we'll achieve something. Because whatever we stay, anytime we stay disunited, we'll end up maybe derailing our program maybe to 2032. And actually by that 2022, most of people will have given up because they'll be like we have tried, but we never achieved whatever we wanted. So capping at 2027, we need to strategize so that at least we are so popular in the ground. We have done maybe the civic education very well. We have also identified the problems that are affecting us in the societies. And at the same time, we are still fighting for these salaries and remunerations for these public offices so that at least it should not be only attracting corrupt leaders where it's like a matter of life and death. Yeah, I think that's my submission tonight.
So thank you very much, Masculinity Men Together Hub. I have a question. So I agree with some things that you said. You said yes, we need to regulate the salaries of these people. We need to strengthen our education system. Yes, both of those I agree with. Then you also said that our votes are based on emotions. But before that, literally before that, you asked even, do we need civic education? So if our votes are based on emotions, do you not think that we do need civic education?
Yeah, actually, like previously it was so much based on emotions because even if you try to ask somebody what was the manifesto that maybe UDA presented, and most of the people don't know, like it was just some Tourette syndrome, like Mimi Nisha make decision because I tried to argue with somebody sometimes back before the election and was trying to reason out from there. It's okay. You are trying to support this side. Maybe let's just sit down. Let's talk and see maybe what they are bringing to the table and maybe is it aligning to our societal norms or whatever we want as a community. But knowing that she will lose the conversation, she just said like, hawa tu wote ni wezi, kila mtu support mwizi wake. You know, I think that was a high level of ignorance as a community, but we are now a step ahead because we are now realizing the impact of education and also the importance of making the right decision because they really affect us on day-to-day life. So actually, by now, civic education is kind of important because we are already informed now. We need to trickle down that thing so that it can also impact the people at the grassroots levels.
So, thank you. I just had to clear that up with you to make sure I was understanding you correctly. Thank you very much. I won't go through your whole name, but thank you. Okay, so let's go to Dennis Shege. I saw your hand up at some point. Then Dennis, then Anthony, and then Kim001, then Rojo, like that. Thank you very much, Dennis. Dennis, can you hear me? Can anybody hear Dennis? Dennis, I don't think we can hear you. Just drop for a second, then I'll bring you back up onto the speakers panel. Let's go to Anthony next, if that's okay. Hey, where's Anthony? Okay, Kim001, you're here. Kim001, can you hear me?
Am I audible?
Yeah, 100%. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm one of those people who requested the mic because of that Skyline guy. I really hate people who come to spaces to fearmonger, but I am really happy that Wanyama and KOT Sonko really went ahead to deal with that bullshit he's trying to bring around here. And it is in that on that note that I really need to caution us, because you really don't have to be a government operative as he was trying to tell us. But if you're really trying to do what they always do, that is trying to sow the seeds of division and the seeds of fear. I'll tell you, the difference between you and the government blogger is that he's getting paid, you're not. Or you're really using our space to audition for such a position so that you can also go justify why you also need to be included in that small payslip. So anytime we come across such people, they should be dealt with immediately and with the firmness that they really deserve. I think I'll be making a submission later much later, but I'll still be listening. I have to first do something a bit on this side of mine.
No problem. Thank you very much, Kim001. Welcome back to the mic whenever you get back. I'm actually going to skip the queue before I get back to Anthony because I can see there's a lady on the panel. So Moiru, hi. Moiru, can you hear me?
I kind of wanted to piggyback on something Wanyama said, that we need to focus on the numbers and familiarize ourselves with the statistics and data from the last census, because I said this before, that when it comes to numbers, we were very limited compared to, I don't even want to compare it to the US, to where if you're running for office, you can deduce down to the zip code to know who is registered to vote, who they voted for, and from that you can build a campaign and know what the target is. We don't have access to that much information and numbers. I mean, if we look at the last census, we keep talking about tribalism here. These guys are not even worried about tribalism. Like I said, according to the statistics, only 7%. That is only 9 million. Luya's 14%. That is 7.6 million people. Kalenjin 13%. That is like 7 million people. Luo 10%. That is 5.4 million. But the number these people are really worried about is a 5% majority, which 34 years. That makes 40 million. 40 million of us. And that is up to 34 years. So people like me who are older millennials are not even factored into this number. That's the number they're focused on. And introducing, and that is why you see, for one, he paired up with Raila so he can start getting that base. And in short, what they're trying to tell us is they're very, very scared of 2027. They're very, very scared. That is why they're starting so early to start fighting for this. Because this is, I keep saying, this is the first time I believe in Kenyan history that these people are going. So the only way to help fix Kenya, honestly, opinion, is if we win, we have one party, we register all our candidates under one party, we win presidency, we take DP, and we take majority in the Senate and in the parliament. Because even if, say, for example, Morara wins by himself, he's going to have to deal with these people. So we need to clean a whole clean slate. And how do we achieve this? As we're doing civic education on the ground, like KOT and Morara are doing, we need to empower people to know that they need to come out and run. And we need to be very, very precise about what we're doing. We need to be very, very intentional. Civic education is key, but the only way it's going to work is if we present people alternatives. So even if we civic education and we civic educate the whole country, then what? Who are they going to vote for? We have to present an alternative. And that is the main thing. Personally, I have decided that I'm going to focus on is we need to present a better alternative. If you guys remember when Obama started running for the first time, why do you think Obama won? Obama did not win because miracles. No, he won because he was a fresh alternative for people. He triggered people. He gave people hope, and a whole group of people whose votes had been disfranchised before had a reason to go and register and to vote because they had a new face to vote for, and they basically identified with this person. And if we do not take in and realize that if we miss this opportunity where the youth are basically right now so empowered in Kenya, if we do not take advantage of this opportunity we have now, honestly, the next generation is the only salvation we will have. We have the majority. We are very educated. We just need to structure ourselves and group ourselves and become very, very precise about our planning. I keep saying I have been counting. I have been keeping track of the days. Right now, as we're talking, we have 1,046 days to the next election. What are we doing? I love what Morara is doing, what KOT and these guys are doing. But in the process of doing this, we need to become very, very intentional. We say occupy parliament, we occupy Senate, and we occupy the State House. That is our mission going forward. As of protesting, as much as I am for protesting in Mandamano, let's be realistic. The last Mandamanos we have planned have not materialized because the numbers have not, been as big as compared to the last big one we had. The numbers are dwindling when it comes to protesting. So we have to engage in a strategy that is realistic and very logical and practical. So let's as we have these spaces, as we talk, we need to start identifying leaders. When you go on the ground, as much as you're teaching people about taxes, which I love, tell them, I need you to produce a Gen Z MP, I need a Gen Z MCA, I need a Gen Z governor, I need a Gen Z. This is how we're going to change Kenya, because as much as even when we take office, we still need to prosecute these people. And these guys have been in there for 30 years. We are talking about bills and laws they passed just to have legal corruption. So we have a lot of cleaning up to do, a lot of dirty laundry to clean. The information we have right now is just 0.000%. But once people get into those offices, oh my God, it's going to be bad. Like, we will have a lot of cleaning up to do. And you need an entire team. And that is why I keep insisting. We need to register one party. We register all the candidates under one party. Our goal needs to take up majority. We need to take majority. House, Senate, we occupy everywhere, literally. And it's not impossible. It is very, very, very possible. Very possible. I saw it happen in the U.S. because I was new in the U.S. when Obama ran for the first time. And I happened to live in a city that was majority black people. Black people who had never, ever voted. Because according to history, they have been taught that their vote did not count. Even if you vote, it doesn't count because most of the candidates were always white. So your vote doesn't count. And these people are not going to work for you. And the system is against you. And he gave them that empowerment where they came out and voted, and almost over 60 million of them voted. People voted. So let's sit here and talk and talk and talk and hit the ground. But ultimately, the only way we would fix this country is we have to take power. And I'm very proud of people like KOT who have come up and said what they want. That is what we need. What do you want to do? What position do you want? Personally, if I was in Kenya, I would have gone for governor. I don't care. I would have gone for MP. So we need to shift the narrative to that perspective. That the only way we'll be able to change Kenya is if we completely take up power. And we change it and we prosecute these people. We amend the constitution to where corruption becomes a capital crime. And we don't care how much you steal. If you steal as much as $1, it's capital punishment. We have to develop that kind of zero tolerance. Anyway, I'll just be quiet for now and continue listening.
If I may be allowed to respond, just
a moment.
A little.
I wanted to add something. You say that we need to fill these positions with Gen Z leaders. So let us not put it just Gen Z, but leaders of integrity, because we might get a Gen Z who will not be the kind of person that we want, who will turn out to be like the people we have right now in power. So we need to evaluate, get leaders of integrity, put them in power. Not everybody can be.
No, I agree with you. And that's why we need to realize that time is of essence now, because we have time now. If you said you're going to run for MP of a certain county, we have time to vet people and see who we want as part of our party or part of our movement. So I do understand that having leaders have to be of integrity, but we also have to vet them from the get-go if we will affiliate with them. And then when I say Gen Z, I mean Gen Zote, everybody. But that is why it's key for us to have our own party so we can set up our own rules and decide who we want.
I think he just hit two things that I really wanted to comment on. The other guy talked about Gen Z. I know in your mind you were saying, hey, a fresh blood, not Gen Z, because we have so many people that could be as old as like 70, 80, but have their right minds and have been true to the government. Now, coming back to vetting people, I think what we need, what emphasize on here, personally, I think it's the policies. We should start looking at what are we looking at when we are choosing a leader. That is what we should really look at right now. Let's not even do vetting, because as one person said, the two guys that went to the parliament last time were seen in our eyes as the best guys and very ready to do everything, and Babu Namwamba and everybody. So let's look at their background, 5 years, 10 years behind. What have they been doing? What have they done? Are they corrupt, attached, or is there anything that can taint them? Because if somebody even tried to steal money from somebody, even from my mom, I don't think that person can be true to us. So that's what I wanted to say, that let's look at the policies, let's look at what tools we should have to look for our leaders, and this is part of the civic education. Let's not look at right now, because all these people are winning because they are playing politics of right now, politics of like, I give you this, give me back this right now. And people are foolish enough to get into this. People are not looking at their future. Ask this person, like say, Voice of Tongaren here is posting, he wants to be a governor. Now, for me to have him as a governor, I want to go 10 years back. Where has he worked? What has he done? You know, he doesn't have to have done a big job or anything, but what is his background like? Now, what is his future? What does he anticipate the future will be like for us, for our great-grandkids? Not just him to get money and, you know, pocket it and go home. No. What does he intend to do? Is he just doing it for the name? Is he just doing it for something else? Or is it doing to create an impact which will affect the future? That's all I wanted to say.
I don't hear anybody speaking, but let me just add on to one thing before I fall off. Yeah. So I said we have 1,046 days to the next election, and we need 1,930 candidates. That's who we need. And we're a population of 40 million if we're going to just focus on Gen Z and millennials, which I don't find it unreasonable for us to be selfish in this essence and say we want millennials and Gen Zs. I don't find anything wrong with that. We have been the ones who have been deprived of opportunities. And if this is our chance for us to take up these opportunities, well, let's do it and do it proudly. So if it's going to be mostly Gen Zs and millennial, we need 1,930 of you candidates. If we get 10,000, then we'll start doing the vetting.
So okay, I think my co-host ni kama umetulia kidogo, but Nyalomo, you were speaking.
Yes, I think I finished. I was just responding to the lady. I said we should be very open to. Hello. We should be open to looking at policies and maybe the background check for all these leaders here. Anybody that is been tainted, rather than looking at it that, hey, it's open, we are Gen Zs, we are running this show, and millenniums, and only those people. No. We have Okia Matata, who does not even belong to these two generations, but is doing phenomenally well, you know. So I think we should not even start thinking of spreading such kind of innuendos that it is just Gen Z. Look at who is pragmatic, who is able to deliver, and look at his background. 10 years behind. Kenya, we can look at 10 years behind.
What's your last name, man?
Okello. Yeah. So we can look at 10 years behind, or 5 years is too short, but 10 years behind. So that's why I was saying, I used Voice of Tongareni as an example. If I'm personally, I've heard him talk in these spaces and I've seen him is ready for a change, but now look at him. I want to vote him in as a governor. I want to look at his...
Right after.
All right. I want to look at him as what has he been doing for the last maybe, who knows? And then out of there, I want to know, has he ever been tainted? Tainting here means even friends. Have you conned friends? You know, are you somebody who is truthful to something? What have you done to the community, your own community, not just your own family? You know, have you even formed up a football club? You know, have you even sponsored something like that? You know, to create a change. You have to be a change agent. So let's look at politics of now, look at politics of the future, and look at the policies and what somebody is able to bring to the table. I know Gen Z started this thing here, but so many people are in it. Gen Zs have done phenomenally well, but so many people are in it. So even to include Okia Matata's age, so many people. And he is in the government, he could choose. He could have chosen to do whatever the rest of Nyangaus are doing there. But you see, he's chosen to work with people and be accountable to the public. That's all I was talking about. And I submit that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nyolam, and of course, personally, I also agree with you. Yeah, having people with good track records is something that we really need to consider, because we can say we want to remove all the members of parliament and bring in the new blood, but then we bring in the same people of the same character. So looking at the track record of someone before we get them elected in positions, it really matters a lot. The real Joe, can see your hand is up.
Thank you, KOT. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, bro.
Say hi to Binti and Wanyama. Anyway,
they are asleep.
They need to wake up. We are discussing serious issues. They need to wake up. Let them not sleep. Anyway, the reason I put my hand up is because of the previous speaker, Nyolamo. I like what he's saying, and I really concur with what he's saying. Basically, he's just put up, is actually spoken my mind somehow. But I'm going to put it this way. The question we need to ask is, do you pass the leadership test? Do these people who we want, the so-called new blood, do they pass the leadership test? Because that is the litmus test that we've always failed to conduct. And we've always failed to properly scrutinize the people we want in leadership. I've said this before. Public service is something that we need to take. We've seen this and we've experienced this firsthand. Public service is something that we really need to take serious moving forward. Why? Because we are giving people an opportunity. We are giving people an opportunity. Being selfish with this kind of choices will help us a lot. Why am I saying selfish? And what do I mean by selfish? Being selfish in selecting the right people, setting up the tests and ensuring that these people we want to select pass these tests. Credibility, integrity, everything. Do they pass all that? That's why I think Nyolamo is talking about looking at the track record. We are trying to look if these people pass the leadership test. I'll tell you what. One of the very famous sayings I like by Theodore Martin Hesburgh, the American priest. He said, the very essence of leadership is that you have to have vision. And this is something that I see we've lacked for a very long time. We've lacked visionary leadership. Because vision, for me, is a leadership that comes in with an intention to leave a mark. You come in with a plan. What is your plan? What is your economic agenda? What is your social democratic agenda? What do you have? What vision do you have for this country? In the next 3 years, in the next 1 year, where do you want this country to be? That is the plan. And you set up very, very achievable goals. We've not had that in a very long time. Maybe the last I would trace is Kibaki era, where we set up a vision 2030. For the first time in our country, we set up a vision as a country. And we set up a vision for every sector, in education, all that. Unfortunately, we are 6 years away from vision 2030. I would say with confidence that we have not achieved even half of what had been set out to be achieved in vision 2030. Why? Because after that vision was set out, we've had a set of unvisionary leaders. They don't care about about the future of Kenyans. They don't care, literally. And that is why the young people have risen right now. Because we have decided to say we are not going to maintain the status quo. It has been like this. Do we want it to be like this forever? No. The young people have decided to follow what Thomas Jefferson once said, that, in matters of style, you can swim with the current. But in matters of principles, you need to stand like a rock. That is why we are standing like a rock. We are not intimidated by the state activities. And I like it the way young people have decided to stand like a rock in a KOT. Every day, despite threats, despite intimidations, we stand like a rock. That is what maybe most of us are referring to as the new blood. But even so, even with the new blood that we are talking about, we still need to ensure that this new blood pass the leadership test. They still, even though they are the new blood and that is what we want, we still need to ensure they pass the leadership test. We will support them once they pass the leadership test. But we also need to be aware of, be alive to some facts that happen in our country. In our country, we have one sickness called tyranny of majority. Tyranny of majority is what is affecting our electoral cycle. That is why people always fall back. During elections, people fall back to tribal cocoons. That is what we are being treated to right now. The Mulima politics, with the led by Rigiji, and any other type of politics we saw when Masengeli was being taken to court. It now became a Luya thing that is being targeted because he's a Luya. These are some of the things that are setback to our development agenda. We need to kick such things out of our system completely. How do we kick these things out? I'll tell you what. We have demonstrated, and in the beginning of this movement, the first phrase that we used to say, leaderless, partyless, tribeless. I'll stick to tribeless because we are going away from the partyless. We are going away from the leaderless. We now want to identify leaders of the movement, which is a good step for us. But tribeless was very key for us. It has been a unifying factor for us. We don't care who is who. We don't care about your second name. We don't care about your traditional name. That is your name. Be proud of it. But it does not define who you are. It does not make me favor someone with a similar name or a similar background. That is not what we are fighting for. We want to kick that out completely. And one of the very, very fundamental ways of kicking out tribal cocoons that we've had in the past is shaping public opinion. And I like the courage that Kinakeoti, Morara have been using. They decide to go to that mulima that has been said, Ayezi Guzwa. They go there. It is courage. That courage is what is going to get us there. We need to find ways of shaping this public opinion. Shaping public opinion is key for us. We need to stick to the message. We have been a movement that is only discussing issues. Go to any space that young people are involved. You will always only hear people talk about issues. Adani, we are talking about corruption, we are talking about poor governance, we are talking about the legislative agenda that is currently in parliament, just bills left, right, and center, livestock, I don't know what. We are talking about issues. And these issues, we translate them and package them in messages that we can then send to our people out there. We shape their opinion. We show them that this government, as it is, it does not serve your interest. It only serves interest of a few people. We shape that public opinion. That is what we need to ensure. We need to find strategies of doing this through civic education, as we always campaign. Through civic education, through any other way, we need to ensure that the message gets out there in well, so that we can shape every Kenyan to think out of the tribe and think on the issues that are affecting them. If you go to Mount Kenya, you tell them about the agricultural bills that are being passed, that is going to cause a lot of unemployment. In fact, agriculture, I think 75% of Kenyans earn from agriculture. 75%. Agriculture is the largest contributor to our GDP. Agriculture is the largest employer. We are bringing bills to limit even planting of rice. You can imagine, yet we import rice. What kind of leadership is that? Okay, these are some of the... Yes, as I learn, these are some of the things that we are trying to fight against. So as I learn, I will leave you with a saying from Margaret Mead, so that Margaret once said that, never doubt a group of small people, a group of small, thoughtful, concerned citizens, if I put it correctly. Never doubt that a group of small, thoughtful, concerned citizens can change the world. Indeed, that is the only thing that has ever changed the world. A small group of concerned and thoughtful citizens, just like we are in this movement. That is what is going to change this country. Thank you very much, KOT.
Okay, thank you so much, the real Joe. Let me have Anthony. Good evening.
Good evening, host KOT Sonko.
Anthony, your mic is open, but I can't hear your voice.
Yes, can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Naona mtu moja.
Real Joe, you can hear Anthony?
Yes, I can hear Anthony.
Naweza kuendelea? Yes, there's a few people who can hear me. Let me just continue. Good evening, host KOT Sonko. Good evening, Binti. Good evening, Wanyama. Na wote ambao mko katika space ya jioni hii ama mchana, inategemea mahali uliko ulimwenguni. Nashukuru sana kazi yote ambayo mnaendelea kufanya, watu wote ambao wako kwa jukwaa hii, sababu hapa tunajaribu kuleta maoni yetu na kujiunganisha kwa mawazo. Sasa ningependa kuchangia mjadala ambao ulitangulia hapo mbele kidogo kuhusu distractions za deputy president. Kwa hakika hii ni mjadala ambao inaongelewa na watu wengi katika nchi kwa wakati huu, lakini ningependa tu kuwaomba ya kwamba tuiangalie, tuitazame kwa njia moja ambayo iko positive. Na hiyo njia ni gani? Ikiwa deputy president anaweza akawa impeached, ametuahidi, ametupromise ya kwamba vile kila mtu atateremka chini. So let us support the impeachment process and let the outcomes of it, his threat to make sure that everything comes down on everybody, let us wait for that eagerly. We might have a regime change much sooner than the 2027, which we are also still working on it through our efforts under civic education. Sasa kwa mambo ya sasa, Gen Z on the ground, ningependa kutaja mambo mbili ama tatu. Ya kwanza, kuna familias ya wale mashujaa ambao walipoteza maisha zao katika tarehe 26 mwezi wa 6 katika bunge ya Kenya. Na leo walikuwa wameandamana wakienda Harambee House kupeleka jina za wapenzi wao ambao walipoteza maisha ama wale waliuawa. Hii ilikuwa ni jambo na siku ya muhimu sana kwa sisi wote, na ambacho kilitendeka, kulikuwa na hawa ma-activists ambao niliwaona sababu nilitazama hii kwa runinga. Tulikuwa na Khalid Hussein, tulikuwa na Boniface Mwangi na tulikuwa na Hanifa. Hao ndio walikuwa pale, na wamama wazazi walipigwa na polisi, walikanyagwa chini. Hii ni jambo la uchungu sana, ila hata kama tunasema kwamba tunataka kujisambaza, kujitangaza nchini, we must keep our eyes on the ball. Vitu za muhimu kama hizi ambazo zinafanyika CBD, kama kuna petitions ya majina zinapelekwa ofisi ya rais, lazima tuungane na tupatie hiyo jukumu uzito ambayo inastahili. Kwa hivyo tuwe na mtazamo mbili. Tujue ya kwamba chochote ambacho tunachokitenda kwa wakati wowote, kuna vitu mingi ambazo zinachangia mabadiliko, hata wakati tunalala zinaendelea kutendeka. Kwa hivyo tuwe broad minded, tuangalie left, tuangalie right, tuangalie juu, tuangalie chini, na tujaribu kutafuta njia ya kuharness hizi efforts zote ziwe as a positive push forward. Nikiendelea mbele, leo kulikuwa na mjadala katika bunge kuhusu mambo ya ndani. Na mbele ya parliamentary committee ya leo haikuwa mbele ya seneti kama ile ya wiki iliyopita, na naweza nikawahakikishia ya kwamba mood imechange, sababu hiyo committee imetoa instructions Kenya Airports Authority isiendeleshe mazungumzo yoyote na Adani mpaka Auditor General alete report kuonyesha ya kwamba mwanzo ya hii mchakato yote ya Adani ilifuatilia kanuni za sheria, na Auditor General amepewa wiki 2. Kwa hivyo mtaona na mtakubali na mimi ya kwamba hivi vyombo ambazo tuko nazo za utawala, iwe ni bunge, iwe ni koti, iwe ni maandamano, zote zinafanya kazi kwa njia moja ama nyingine. Hatuwezi kupredict outcome yake kama itatufavor ama pana, lakini vile nimewaelezea, the mood pale kwa hiyo committee ilikuwa imechange kabisa. Hata sura za hao wakubwa kutoka Kenya Airports Authority zilianza kubadilika. Wanajua business is not as usual. Nitagusia tena kidogo kuhusu kesi ya Masengeli. Vile mnavyojua, kuna appeal ambayo ilikuwa launch na Law Society of Kenya, na itakuja wiki pengine ujao ambayo inafuatilia, na inahusu the Kitengela 3. Hawa pia ni mashujaa ambao walijitoza katika kiwanja ya mapambano, na wakati hiyo kesi itarudi kotini tena, ni vizuri sana tuiangazie, tusiache tu kikando tu ya kwamba Faith Odhiambo yuko pale, Kenya Human Rights Commission yuko pale. Hapana, lazima tuitwekee darubini, tuiangazie kabisa, sababu hiyo inaweza kutupatia njia moja ambayo tutapata ukweli ya hizi abductions zote ambazo zimekuwa zikiibuka. Kabla sijaweka mic chini, ningependa kugusia jambo ambalo pia imesambaza katika nchi yetu wakati huu. Karibu vyuo vyetu zote za public hakuna masomo yoyote inaendelea. Hawa lecturers wanaendelea na strike yao. Juzi walitupiwa tear gas. Najua kuna watu wamelalamika ya kwamba wakati wa Gen Z hawakuungana na sisi, na hivyo pia wajikakamue. Lakini ni muhimu, sababu vyuo vyetu vikuu ndio zina hold ile pila ya education, na masomo, elimu ni muhimu kwa ile kazi ambayo iko mbele, ambayo ina face generations Gen Z, vijana, hata wazazi pia. Elimu ni kitu muhimu sana, na tutafute njia tofauti tofauti ya keep touch on what is happening with the university lecturers strike. Mwisho kabisa nitaongelea KICC cell. Kulikuwa na uamuzi wa koti leo. Mnajua wakati ilikuwa jaribio ya kuuza KICC, na uamuzi ya koti leo imesema kwamba hiyo privatization bill ambayo ilitumika kujaribu kuiuza KICC, it is unconstitutional. Na jaji amesema ya kwamba KICC is a national asset. Nikimalizia vile nimesema, ni kuwasihi kabisa tuendelee kujiongezea views kutoka pande zote, tuendelee na civic education. Hiyo kwanza ni ya muhimu kabisa kushinda zozote. Katika civic education KOT ametuelezea kazi ambayo anafanya umuhimu kujaribu kuelezea mandugu zetu pale nyumbani ya kwamba ushuru wanailipa kila dakika, kila wakati wakinunua chochote ambacho wanahitaji kwa maisha yao, na ni haki yao kudai serikali iwahudumie. Hiyo pesa ambayo wanalipa katika ushuru inatakikana wapate dawa hospitalini, inatakikana wale ambao wanafuzu kwenda shule, iwe ni ya primary, ya sekondari, ya TVET, university, wapate elimu ambayo itaweza kuwainua maisha. Kwa hivyo civic education ni kitu ambayo popote ambapo tuko, dakika yoyote, sasa ni jioni kama hapa nyumbani Kenya, lakini kesho asubuhi tukiamka, ukienda madukani, ukikutana na watu wale, umekuwa lazima uwajulishe mambo ambayo inafanyika nchini, uwaulizie maoni yao ni gani, na wewe pia uwapatie maoni yako. Hivyo tunajielimisha. Tusichukue civic education ni kitu lazima tuende mbali ya Nairobi ndio tunaweza tukaifanya. Kuna watu wako katika hii space ya leo wanatusikiza pengine huko Ulaya, wengine wako Pwani, wengine wako Garissa, wengine wako Busia, wengine wako Nakuru, wengine wako Laikipia. Wachukue mwito, wajaribu kuunga kazi ya wale ambao wanatembea kama Kebaso Morara pamoja na Keuti Sonko. Hata hawa wakirudi Nairobi, wale ambao wako pale nyuma waendelee bado kufundishana. Vitu za muhimu ni kujua kwamba Kenya iko ina debt crisis. Lazima tuelezee wananchi kinaga ubaga ya kwamba hii debt crisis, kuna IMF nasikia wanakuja hapa karibuni wiki 2 ama 3 zinazokuja na loan ya karibu $600 million ama kitu kama hiyo. Lazima tujue hiyo ikikuja tu hivi ni deni ambayo tena ni mzigo juu ya mzigo ambazo tunazidi kuzibeba, na tuongee mambo zote ambazo zinatukabili kama nchi ili wananchi wairevuke, wajue ya kwamba serikali ambayo hiko mamlakani sasa imeshindwa kutimiza ahadi zote, karibu zote ambazo zilituahidi kama wapiga kura. Hiyo ndio civic education. Haina mwanzo, haina mwisho, ni kitu lazima iendelee, na itategemea pia vitu ambavyo vinaibuka kila kuchao. So we must upgrade our information base kwa juhudi ya civic education. Nashukuru sana Keuti Sonko kwa kunipatia mic kwa jioni ya leo, na wote ambao wamenisikiza, asanteni sana, na nitarudi kwa listeners panel nizidi kusikia mchango wa wengine. Asanteni.
Naam, asante sana Bwana Anthony kwa kujiunga na sisi jioni hii ya leo, na pia kutoa mawaidha yako na kuongea kuhusu mjadala wa siku hii ya leo. So in the house I'm having Smack. You are here before. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you. Thank you, KLG.
Take a maximum of 4 minutes. I just want us to end this space at exactly 12 a.m. midnight.
Okay. us to grow bigger. Kuna watu in some places of this country don't know even a single point of this government. Kuna mtu somewhere hana hata simu, hajui what's going on in this government. Watu wanasikia tu kuna maandamano. So the civic education, I think this is the mother of this movement. People should go down and dig deeper for this movement to be successful. On the next one is the ideal of the governorship. Hizi mambo za viti. I had someone talking about mambo za MPs nini. We young people, we have change in us. We need to move stronger and be strong and bold for us to succeed in this movement. Kuna watu in some parts of this political movement are, kuna watu wanafaa julishwe because they don't know. Watu wanangoja kudeliver. They being deliver some promises they were made by these leaders, but there's nothing going on. People are starving. People are just loitering around. Hakuna job opportunity. There's some parts of Likoni, Mombasa, youths are in drugs. People need to go deeper in their Likoni parts, Mombasa parts, Kwale parts. People are involved in heavily using drugs. Please, you need to reach there and educate these young people, because it's so sad. It's so sad for real. Young people they don't know where they're heading. So kama mtafika, please, I need you all to reach some Kwale parts. People are so, watu wanateseka sana. Mtu ukiangalia nyumbani, there's nothing. Ukiangalia unakoenda ujui, hamna kazi. Mtu unasoma ujui unaelekea wapi. So there's some things we need to, the civic education, I think that's the ideal. It's a good idea. And I like what you're doing, and I really appreciate, because I can see change in us, and change is coming soon. It's coming home. Kenya ni home and must be respected. Sikuwa na mambo mengi ya kuongea, it's only that, but there's no freedom without solidarity. We need to unite as young people of Kenya for change. The change is in us. We have the vision and ambition. Let's go, our people. Thank you for this chance, and I'll talk another time. And I'll have much to talk about. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mark, of course. And in the Coast region, we are coming soon. Coast region, then Rift Valley, alafu we have the Western region, tukijipanga pole pole. So any guy who wishes to join us this weekend, I'll let you know where we are touring, and of course you can join us. And if you are there and you wish to support that movement, always reach out to me. Yeah, you can either support us by just giving us a motivation, or even just praying for us wherever you are. That's more support yenye pia tunahitaji. So if you wish to join us, just let me know. My DM is always open. And if also you are wondering where we'll be, just know that tunaenda Coast, Rift Valley, and then Western, in that order. And then after that, tutaketi chini tena, we see where we can tour. But of course we want a lot of people to join us, so that pia tunajadiliana sisi wenyewe kwa wenyewe na tukipanga mikakati ya hapa na pale. Anyway, I can see Mwangale, we haven't had a lady here for like some 1.5 hours. So Mwangale, jambo.
Jambo, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, you see, you're doing good job. I've been busy kidogo 1 to 3, but I'm back, and we are together. And I can confirm to you that it's working, and it has been working, and I am a witness because it's working. Of course, I come from Bungoma County, to be more specifically, Kimilili constituency. And I'm very sure you're seeing what's going on there. And Vijana, they know exactly what they want, and they know exactly what civic education is, and they're on it, and they have not forgotten. No, don't think that when you're menyamaza, they don't know what they're doing. it's creating a very big impact, and we should not relent. Let's keep up. Let's reach more people, because by the time this war will be coming to an end, you will realize that watu wengi were getting the information ni ile tu, sometimes they were passive, or maybe they were doing some other things. But kusema ukweli, I can confirm to you people these nights that it's really, really working. And of course, many people have spoken, have been listening, and I can see that we should stop being swayed. As young generation and as a young nation, we were not involved in all that thing about the government and everything that they were doing. So right now, when they're doing their own things, we should not even focus there. We should focus on how we are going to bring our youth on board. We should focus on how best we can do this civic education. We should focus on even how we are going to support ourselves to be better people in this country. Because by the time they were doing their things there, they didn't involve the youths. We actively, of course, they use us. They use us as their bloggers. They use us as their, campaigners and what. And as soon as they get their position, in fact, most of the politicians will tend to make you the most useless person you've never been. So this time round, I'm urging the Gen Z, the young people of this country, that it's better uanguke na mtu mwenye unajua very well angepita would help you than supporting somebody that you are very 100% sure they're not going to help you. So mimi I'm very motivated. I'm very much in it and on it. The civic education thing. And of course, bado nitawaambia we should not be swayed, because we know exactly what we want. And hizi kelele mingi bana tuchore, you should not even be listening to them. Every other time you meet a friend, bana, try to talk to them. Tell them the importance of the civic education. Tell them the importance of having that ID. Tell them the importance of trying to look in for new things that can be at least much more better than what's usual. I'll speak like this because in my area, or rather where I come from, not even like that, but you'll find out that this politics that is in this country, ni politics ya reuse, like recycle the leaders and what. But this these days, we are going for new people. And please, when you are given an opportunity, when you're given a chance, speak, talk to people, let them understand. And your first, in fact, when most of us, I know, we are going to vie for those positions, and we are confident that you're going to win. Anza kwanza na kufunza watu wako hii civic education isiguame. Even after the election, let people understand. Tusikuje tena tukakuwa na Kenya yenye tuko nayo sahi. We should not once upon again tukuje back to this story yenye tuko ndani the sahi, because of illiteracy and ignorance. And then another thing, every other time, every other place, when you meet 3, 4, 5 people, or in any other function, don't wait those people to call you and bring you a chance and give you a chance to address banner. Always find a way to maneuver, to get that chance, to get that opportunity. Speak to people. Tell the people exactly what they must listen and what's there. They will understand. The fact that this Gen Z wave is swiping left, right, center in this country, but now use that as a to win. So kindly, every other place, ukienda church, ukienda those two meetings, hata ukikuwa shule, like I'm very sure some people are very creative. Our brother Morara and Keotis walikuwa wanatuambia the other time, we have different capabilities in terms of how we can express our ideas. Some people are good at singing, some are good at maybe poetry and what have you. Maybe like for my case, I'm good at political. So you'll find that hatutakuwa on this, like we won't be doing the same thing. But at the end of the day, we are having the same aim, the same target. So don't relent and don't bother. As long as tuna fight the same war, hata kama mimi na we have our own issues, or mimi na Binti Africa, or maybe Wanyama, or either person, we have our own differences and our own issues. Bana ebu tusahau kwanza, ebu we suspend those issues first. Then we fight this war. We fight this common enemy. Then we will come back to settle our accounts baadaye. But one thing I know, by the time we'll be finishing to the fight, tutakuwa tunapiga ma high five huko juu. So bana sahi, we should suspend our own differences. Sijui ni nani ako na nywele ya pink na mwingine ya brown, ama sijui mwingine sijui ni kala gani. Bana, we should not focus on that. And we should not be diverted, bana. We young people knows what's going on. They have fooled us for quite some time. And it's now time that we wake up. It's now time that we rise. And we are many. And I said, because of our numbers, tunaweza tukama we are not going for that presidency. And we make sure that Senate imejaa Gen Z. Tuna make sure ni parliament imejaa Gen Z. Any motion inakuja that we see it's not fit for the people of this country, tunayangusha. And we have the power. Those two houses have the power to host the sitting anybody who is elected in this country. So ebu tusifocus sasa na huko juu. Ebu tuanze kujua strategy zile zenye ni ndogo ndogo, but now they can make a very big impact. But now, if you see any young person anywhere, wherever, don't mind. As long as you can see that they are capable, as long as they have the qualities of a good leader, don't mind hata anaitwa nani ama anatoka wapi. Support that person. Rally behind that person, because hawa jamaa, they are coming to rally behind their people so that wanaweza kuendeleza the bad things that they are doing. They deal like in Adani and other these wash activities that they are doing behind our backs. Wanajua zinaenda kurun for quite some years. So they are not going to let it evil until you new people coming to take over, and they are not done with their businesses. They will always come back. So bana, we should not fear them, because me realize sasa ni kutuzia uoga.
Mwangale wind up.
Na tukinunua uoga yao, they're going to frustrate us. Like for example, you saw what happened na kina alikuwa nani, I don't know, whatever, 3. Those people walishikwa na wakaachiliwa because they knew venye kulikuwa kunaenda. That's one night ikuenda kuwa poa. So we should not be intimidated and we should not relent, because what I believe, mimi hata leo nikishikwa, I know you people are going to make noise na nitaachiliwa. So I'll always do the right thing, knowing that you have my back. I have you, like you got me and I got you. So bana, young people, come out, speak out your mind, speak what you feel, do the right thing, get your the ID, register as a voter, tuanguke nayo this time round. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mwangale. And now let me give this chance to SPMQ. 3 minutes, please. I want us to end this space at midnight. Kindly.
Thank you very much. It says PMQ. Thanks for the mic. I've been having a problem with my mic and my network and all these things. I don't know if this problem of Starlink, this thing that is being drummed up by Ruto day and night. But okay, it's good. But we need to we have to take care. Maybe it's the one that will be used to rig the elections. We don't know, but he's been drumming up for these things. But let's not first look at that. Let's look at the primary issues first. Guys, there are primary issues that we have to take care of. Before we fly high, I can see we are flying high. We are doing good, and it's okay. But let's take a look at primary issues as early as possible. Like, for example, the IBC. The IEBC must be formed as soon as possible. I mean, as soon as possible. We need to take primary issues like the issue of ID issuance. These are all primary issues that we are somehow overlooking. We are above board. Tuko juu sana lakini tunasahau these primary issues. We are forgetting about them. Okay, having said that, there are some other things that I heard from speakers. I've been listening carefully. Isipokuwa ni network, and I'll take a few minutes. Those 3 minutes. We have to be realistic. And to be real, we have to unite. We have to be united. And we must have a vision. We have to be logical. Being logical is like now the public participation in ETC, taking ID, sensitizing people in mashinani. Kama sasa the older generation, we have to sensitize them properly. And the Gen Zs and I'm not a Gen Z, and the young population must have this right of taking the IDs, wachukue IDs, so that if we want to take power, we can have it through all means. Like that one, example of that one of voting. And to take power, you must minus fear. To take power, you must minus fear. Fear of assassination, abductions, murders, etc. All these things are real, but we must minus that fear. We must minus that fear. There was a speaker, Mr. Sitam name, who was talking about governance. I agree with him very much, but there must be a political will so that we can govern. Because the political will, we must form like a political party, so that the political party is the one that is going to govern. That one I agreed with him 100%, but it's like he tried to eliminate about the political issue, but the political issue is very relevant kabisa. And when we are looking for a leader, we have to look for a very convincing leader. A very convincing leader. A leader who can clean up the mess. We have a very big mess in the house. This leader must be guided by the population. I mean the mwananchi. He must be an all-inclusive leader. We don't need to hear a leader that you're going to bring forward, and then after some time, that leader must go. The leader must go. That song must end. How will it end? Guys, we most of the time we are talking about issues, but we are not talking about how to solve those issues. Now we are supposed to focus ourselves and figure out how are we going to solve issues. The leadership test. How are we going to test our leaders? We are supposed to test our leaders by looking at their vision, their personal vision, and their all-inclusive vision. When I say an all-inclusive vision, is a leader who will resonate with the public, with the mass. A leader who is going to be understood by the mass. If you're understood by the mass and you have your own personal leader, your own personal vision, then I don't think that leader would like to make decisions that will affect the mass and favor himself. Because if I make a decision that is going to favor me and it's going to distract or even unfavor the public, then I'm a bad leader. So we have to have a leader. We have to test a leader who has a very good vision, and both personal vision, his own personal vision, and the vision of the public. If the vision of the public is maybe, for example, to make it better for the masses in terms of health, education, social well-being, all these things, I know you understand what I'm talking about. Because I want to take some few minutes, I've got a bad communication network. And lastly, I know we are going to have a solution-based conversation very soon, sooner or later. And as we continue, we need to continue with the civic education. That civic education is very important. Let's be open, let's be fearless, and let's all be united. We all be united, because when we are united, we speak the same voice. And when we form a political party, then that political party will be a party that is going to resonate with all the generation. It doesn't matter if it's Gen Z, it doesn't matter if it's millennial, it doesn't matter if it's Gen X, it doesn't matter. It will resonate with all the mass, because we are tending to fly high. We are flying high up, very good, but the landing base is fucking dumb. It's fucking messed up. We cannot land. We are flying high, but the landing base is not favorable. It's not favorable at all for all of us who are in this plane, because these politicians have good cards kept under the table for us. And let's get to the base. Let's make sure that when you take off, you have a good landing base. Because, for example, these leaders who have gone to Unga, these guys are warmongers. Compile them, all of them. Look at them. They are all warmongers. They are there to get, to brush, to polish their cards well. But surprisingly, we are supposed to make them see that when they come here, hata kama ni Adani issue, if Adani comes here and sets up whatever he thinks is setting up, we go against it, then it will land back to them. Hiyo kitu itarudi tu kwa serikali. I've said it again and again, because these guys, they are warmongers. If you look at the way they have compiled themselves, the way they have attended those meetings, you can see they are all bad, and they have cards to throw to us. Bro. Yeah, I'm winding up. They have good cards to throw to us on the table in whatever issues that we take. So we have to be discreet. We have to be united. We have to be passionate, and we have to be eager. We must be eager to know as to what we are looking for and as to what we want. Because all what we want is a good country. We don't want war, because Africa now is eyed on all, the world is eyeing on Africa. And they know that if they get Kenya, if they get hold of Kenya, then they have everything in their hands. Guys, let's look at the picture and let's get down to the primary issues. The primary issues, I said, we are forgetting about the primary issues. We are flying high. Let's get the primary issues now. Let's get them being done. Let's get the IBC. Let's get all these things being formed. Let's get all the logical things that we are supposed to use to work. Then we are going to work. But if we don't have these things that we are supposed to work with, then I think, guys, we have to have good conversation with solutions, not problems. Now let's stop talking about problems. Let's now start talking about solutions. Guys, let me take that time because I know my network is not good, and I thank all of you. KOT, Kulo, Wanyama, Binti, all the listeners and all the speakers. Congrats, guys. It's a good conversation. Thanks, guys. I'm out.
Okay. SPMQ. Thank you so much. Of course, you promised to use less than 3 minutes. You've taken ages, Bwana. We are remaining with only 12 minutes, guys, to wind up this space. And I want to give out to the following speakers. I want Nyati to go. Then I'll have Emmanuel, Kimani, then Declan. Alafu Mode, then Farah, alafu Solomon will wind up. But guys, remember I'm having my own phone number up there. Yeah, hiyo number jina ya Mpesa inaletanga jina yangu, and so if you feel like you can support whatever I've been doing, and of course we're still going to the ground on the weekend, don't shy of using that number. Usiogope bwana, usiogope kutuma hapo milioni 10. So Nyati kindly.
Hey, thanks a lot for that. I really appreciate that. KOT, Binti, Wanyama, Declan, I see you there. Farah, there's a lot of people here that I really appreciate at the top. I'm only speaking to the people that I can see. Guys, mjipe moyo kabisa. Continue with the strength within you. Don't feel downcast in any way. You will see a lot of things happening on social media. There'll be a lot of propaganda. Ile tu, I'm actually trying to invest in you, like have a very strong spirit. Continue with that strength within you. Think positive for the revolution, positive for it. Don't let any distractions catch you along the way and have disagreements that are useless. I think we need unity. For me, unity is really important. And I don't want to point fingers and say, oh, maybe some people are not supporting us in terms of unity. But in a nutshell, I'm trying to say that Morara's Frontier and all these other guys when you inject tuku chini, inafaa tu at least tuseme tunaenda kukuwa na space moja hapa kubwa. Sisi wote we agree and say this day, all these other spaces, there will be no other space. We are going to come together to ambia Tamerix. We warn him off and tell him, my brother, we welcome you. We want us to team up and have one single space. Tujae ndani ya hii kitu, ndani sisi wote. And we deliberate and we talk to each other. Let's make this thing one of those very initial initiatives. Itatusaidia sana. Tutakuwa na nguvu sana. Na tutakuwa na ile umoja wa, direction wise. And it will really help us. I don't want to consume all the rest of the time. I think there's only 10 minutes or so. The final thing I wanted to say is, I know tunafanya maandamano, but just as an idea, I wanted just to throw this out there. Anyone that thinks it's positive, go for it. If you think it's silly, fine, I get it. So I wanted to say, badala ya watu kwenda kwa on the ground ati maandamano, for specific reasons. I'm not saying like maandamano isikwe, nasema tufanye maandamano, lakini we can also have meetings. Okay, we can just say, okay, fine, we're going to pay for a permit, Uhuru Park on a specific day, just like the way I think Boniface Mwangi and the other lady, although they had a permit now, they've been chased away. But let's keep injecting, let's keep trying. So the suggestion is, what if we try and have meetings? Because when there's a crowd of people talking about a specific issue, crowds attract crowds, and that way we can organically start to grow in these small meetings, and we delocalize these meetings so that we have a specific spread of an area. If we have a civic education initiative we want to bring out, we use this as a bandwagon to do that. It will still look like maandamano because many people will come together and it's just a meeting. We don't call it mandamano meetings. Let's meet, with each other so that we actually see each other's faces to Juane Kabisa on the ground. I'd really like to get that opportunity myself. The moment I land in the country, Aki, I will really appreciate to meet some of you guys. You really inspire me, and I know you inspire a lot of other people. Just keep the spirit, keep going. You've got this. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you so much Nyati. Guys, kama mjui Nyati ni buffalo, yeah? Nyati is a buffalo, and of course, amongst the big 5 wild animals, I think I love the buffalo, yeah? Napenda hiyo kitu sana, that's why nimekuwa Kisumu, kunaitwa Impala Park, and I was like, let me just spend my 10 minutes, 20 minutes just to study this mnyama inaitwa nyati, and it's a very nice animal. It resembles a cow. I wish scientist bana mfanya maneno. I would wish to see an offspring ya nyati na ng'ombe, nione how they can reason. But thank you so much nyati. So guys, niliwapanga, sijui nani was next after nyati. Oh, it was Emmanuel. Jambo Kimani. Okay, looks like Kimani bado hayuko ready. Declan, jambo.
Hello, good evening. Nasikika kweli?
Yeah, sure, loud and clear bro. Take a few minutes then you land kindly.
Okay, uti umefanya makosa bwana. Umeleta hawa watu wanapenda kuongea mingi, wapande kwa speakers panel kama space unataka kufunga. Waona watu kama Mkenya hapa Fara, hawa ni watu wanaongeanga 15 minutes. Mimi, Nyati. Anyway, wacha niongea haraka nishuke. So mnaongelea Gen Z kwa ground. When this guy who speaks very good Swahili Sanifu, I love listening to him. I think his name is Anthony. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't even know if he's still here. But I was trying to listen very carefully to what he was saying, and I realized something while he was speaking. One, he spoke about people went today to try and find out something to do with the people who had died. So the families came out and they went to where they went. And that's such a big deal. And it seems that nobody knew, or I didn't know. A lot of people seem not to know because I didn't see it anywhere. And it's very unfortunate. And as he continued just telling me what things that were going on in the country, I realized that the point that I keep raising of unity, and that Nyati has raised, and that other people keep raising in passing, is a real issue. It's a real issue. We won't get anywhere come out to ground if we are not together. We can all be going in the same direction, but I want to give an analogy. I think this is a good analogy. So if you look at a screwdriver, it goes to a point. It's not flat and widespread. It goes to a point, isn't it? And that point is able to apply pressure so that the screw can enter the wall. Because the highest amount of pressure is at that point when all the metal of the screwdriver is pointing to and meets. I don't know if I'm making sense. Even if we're going in the same direction, if that screwdriver at the edge was wide and flat, it would not be able to penetrate the wall. But because all the pressure is at that one point where the screwdriver meets, that means that the pressure is so great that the screwdriver is able to penetrate the wall. What am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is everybody is injecting in a way they should be injecting, which is fantastic. Do what you can from where you are. But we should do what we're doing from where we are in unison. It has to be done together. We can make so much bigger steps if we meet, if the conversations that we continuously having Sauti Mwananchi wapi, and this thing of having multiple I'm landing. You know, this thing of having multiple
Yeah,
spaces.
I can hear you, but can't anybody else? Can you hear anybody else? I'm just here in silence.
Binti, somebody's speaking.
Oh, Binti ndio anauliza. Oh, sorry. Binti unanisikia ama unisikii? Oh, ni kama drop. But anyway, yeah, like I was saying, just that point of unity, it's really important. And guys really need to come together. So if you're doing something, call people, make it known that you're doing it, and tell us how you want us to help you, and we'll come and help you. I had a trigger point. The second point, I had a trigger point. This guy mentioned IMF, and he said IMF are coming. Hey, please. We don't need any more loans. I think we would rather face the repercussions of living without those loans and fixing the nation without those loans than taking the loans and living through the beneficial of the loans. Whenever that IMF come, hey bana, let us meet them at the airport. Wata wasipite hiyo kitu inasemanga karibu ni Kenya. I've even forgotten what it says. Let us meet them there. Pale poka karibu ni Kenya. Let them not even leave JKIA. That is what I can say. Hey, maandamano hiyo siku ikuwe ni kubwa, tukuwa tunaongoja hapo. Just block the road and tell them back to sender. That thing you're carrying in your hand, since which day have you heard that the bank is coming to you to give you a loan? Every time the bank comes to try and give you a loan, they have their own interest at heart. IMF is flying from America or wherever IMF is based. I don't know. I'm not that educated to know where IMF is based. They are coming from where they are. And you want to Kenya to discuss the terms of a loan that they want to give to us. Kwani sisi tulisema tunataka loan? Hapana bwana. Siku IMF wanakuja kwa hii nchi tuwapate kwa mlango. Please. That is what I can pray for. Apart from that, I think watu wanaendelea vizuri. Please recognize how far we've come. Now you can go somewhere, and if you talk about the future of the nation or something like that, people sit down and listen very quickly, and they listen candidly, and they want to know what you're saying, and they're interested. A long time ago, you would try to talk politics or the future of the nation, and nobody would want to listen to you. So we've really changed the direction of where the country is going, and we'll continue pushing. Now tutafika. I don't know how we're going to reach, but we'll reach. Yeah, those are the sentiments I have for now. There's some other things I wanted to touch on, but it is late. Najua mnataka kufunga space. We can also keep talking tomorrow. Asanteni sana.
Okay. Shukran sana, Declan. And so, Emmanuel, are you back? Mr. Kimani? Are you there? Mode, jambo.
Poa sana, niaje?
Niko poa sana. Karibu kwenye mic. Naomba ukatumie muda wa dakika 3.